is 25 degrees in Buffalo. Buck Martinez along with Pat Tabler and Hazel May. We are glad you're with us, and happy Canada Day to everybody. July 1st, we have turned the page, and Seattle had a big comeback win last night. Their 18th comeback win of the season, and they've done a nice job. Top of the order has been terrific. J.P. Crawford has been a great leadoff man, and Mitch Haniger. Today he's the DH, and he's having a good road trip. On this road trip, he's hit .409 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. Haniger hit a 2-run shot in the 5th inning in last night's game. Kyle Seager is back in the 3rd spot. France Bowers Moore. Shed Long is back in left field. Luis Torrens again catching, and Jake Fraley is in the 9th spot playing in center field.
And they get Hyun Jin Ryu getting ready for his 16th start of the season. Last time out, he picked up his 7th win of the season. He got a very good ERA at 3.41. That last start, he pitched into the 7th inning, and at one time, he retired 15 consecutive batters from the Baltimore Orioles. He had all of his pitches working in that game. Lots of weak contact, lots of ground ball outs. He's facing the Mariners for the first time in his career. Seattle becomes the 28th team he has faced in his career.
First pitch is in there for a strike to J.P. Crawford. Crawford had a terrific month of June, batting .352 for the month. His season average at .285. 5 homers and 30 RBIs. Crawford had 3 hits in the game last night. There's a slow breaking ball. He hits it hard down the right field line. That's a fair ball up against the fence. He is round first, headed for second as Teoscar Hernandez plays it back in. A leadoff double, and his July gets off to the same start he had in June.
Crawford really stays in there against left-handed pitching. He's hitting .339 against him because he keeps that front shoulder in, recognizes the slow curveball. He's able to weight back enough and drill it into the corner for an extra base hit. He has had a nice series so far against the Blue Jays.
Came into this game batting .331 as a leadoff hitter. That's the best in the majors for leadoff hitters with over 100 plate appearances. Here's Mitch Haniger. We mentioned his .409 average on this road trip. Nobody out, a man at second. Another curveball missed down and in. Haniger batting .258, 18 homers and 47 RBIs. Seattle has an interesting mix. Their run differential is -47, but they're still 3 games over 500. The reason they have that good winning record is they've been good in 1-run games. They're 18-7, and they've been terrific in extra inning games. They're 9-1. Both of those numbers are the best in the big leagues.
They're getting very good pitching, and they play very good defense. They have the 2nd lowest average in the major leagues, and their on-base percentage not very good, lowest in the season at just .292.
There's another base hit to right field as Crawford will stop at 3rd, so the first 2 reach here. Double and a single.
Defensively for the Blue Jays, here's how they will line up this afternoon. Gurriel, Grichuk, and Teoscar Hernandez in the outfield. Santiago Espinal with the lefty on the mound, and Ryu pitching will get the start over at 3rd base. Bichette and Semien up the middle. Vladdy back at 1st base. Reese McGuire back behind the plate, and Teoscar in right field. Charlie Montoya was talking about his defense today, and he really singled out Teo, how much he has improved in the outfield. He's had a couple of outfield assists. He's been getting better jumps on the ball, been running down the ball. That time he got the ball back in quickly to keep Crawford at 3rd base.
Kyle Seager goes after the first pitch and fouls it out of play. Seager hit a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning. It was his 14th home run of the season, also his 14th career home run against the Blue Jays. He's not had a good season, batting just .216 for the year, but he's still hitting in the 3 and 4 spots in the batting order. He had cleanup last night and had a 2-hit game. There's a fastball on the outside corner. 0-2.
That home run that he hit ended a 14-game homerless drought for Kyle Seager, who's always been tough against the Blue Jays. It was to left field. It was also his first opposite field home run this season, so he's been staying on the ball a little bit better. I think he had to do that after all the strikeouts he's had against the Jays this series.
He struck out 4 times in the opener on Tuesday night, had 3 more strikeouts last night. So it's been kind of all or nothing for Kyle Seager so far in this series. Ryu's ahead 1-2, trying to bounce back after a so-so month of June. Curveball missed away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pat, what do you think the issue has been with Ryu over his struggles for that month of June?
Well, there's been a couple different. His changeup, he hasn't been able to really throw that changeup the way we saw early in the season. He says, I'm working on it in between my starts, and he just hasn't been as sharp around the plate that we saw earlier in the season. Got all the pitches that you need to get outs, but he's been falling behind hitters. He hasn't been able to finish off hitters. He hasn't been able to throw the command with all those pitches that he needs to get outs. I think that's the thing that I have seen for the last 4 or 5 starts from him.
Full count to Kyle Seager. Runners at the corners, nobody out. We're in the top of the first inning. Ground ball toward third. That's a fair ball. Espinal has one play. It's across the diamond. It's off Guerrero's glove. A run comes in to score. Haniger will go to third on the play. And Seattle breaks out on top. It could be an infield hit for Seager as he hit it right down the line at third base. And then the throw got away from Vladdy to allow Haniger to go all the way to third.
Right off the end of the bat, Espinal's got to make a decision. Do I field this ball or do I try and let it go? He makes the decision that, hey, I got to field this thing, and then it's a tough throw across the diamond. The Blue Jays did not play good defense yesterday. They made 3 errors in the game yesterday, and right now, not sure how they're going to score that one, but it should be an infield hit and an error to allow that runner to move over to third base. So not a real good start for Toronto here in the first inning.
There's a curveball from Ryu, and the cleanup hitter Ty France swings and misses. So it is an infield single for Seager. The error is charged to Guerrero for a missed catch. Here's Ty France. Inside with the fastball. It's ball and a strike to the first baseman. France has gone back and forth between the cleanup spot and the third spot. He had a 3-run home run to tie the game on Tuesday night. That came in the 6th inning. Blue Jays had a 3-0 lead, and he tied it up quickly with the home run. It was his 8th home run of the season. 1-1 pitch. He pulls this one foul hard up the third baseline.
He's another one that had a pretty good month with the bat offensively for the Mariners. He had 5 home runs. He played some second base, but then when Evan White went down, they have shifted him over to first base and looks a little bit more comfortable for Scott Service's team, and he's starting to produce for them offensively. They have him hitting in the cleanup spot.
1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a fly ball into center field. That's going to be caught by Grichuk. Haniger is tagging. He's coming to the plate, and he's going to score. So Ty France will be credited with a sac fly, and Seattle has taken an early 2-0 lead. Both the first 2 batters that reached come in to score.
1 on a double, 1 on a single. France just trying to keep that ball in the middle of the diamond. Strong enough to get it into the outfield. Haniger runs well. Randall thought he had a chance at getting him, but a 1 bounce shot to the plate is a little bit late. Seattle takes a very quick lead.
Jake Bauers takes the first pitch off the plate outside. Bauers is in right field today. Shed Long is in left. Bauers was in left field in last night's game. 226 on the season, just 3 homers with 12 RBIs. Ryu missed outside. His command has been off. You mentioned it, Pat. He just hasn't been as sharp. Last year, for the season, opponents hit 185 against his changeup. This year, they've hit 250, which suggests, well, first and foremost, they're starting to recognize that he throws a lot of off-speed pitches. There's a ground ball pulled foul.
Yeah, and it just shows in the numbers. April and May, he was outstanding. 58 strikeouts and just 8 walks in the months of April and May. June, he had 11 base on balls and 14 strikeouts. Elevated ERA. Now, he's not a guy who's going to blow the ball by. He's not going to overpower you. He needs his command, and he needs his finesse, and he needs his control, and he just hasn't really had that in his last few starts in the month of June. He said, I'm going to go back to the drawing board. He said, it's very important that I have balance on the mound. I'm going to work on my mechanics. He says his arm speed is very important, and I think he's right about that. The arm speed, where you get the different velocity in the fastball, in the changeup, if you've got the good arm speed, that's where you're going to get the fools. The guys getting fooled on that changeup, and it just hasn't been there lately.
Curveball is hit high in the air to the outfield. Randall Grichuk calls for it. The center fielder makes the catch. Bowers is retired. Well, we want to remind you folks that this is the final day to vote. Phase 2 of the All-Star Game voting is almost over, and the Blue Jays have 5 finalists that need your help to make them all starters. Vote for your Blue Jays until 2 p.m. Eastern today at bluejays.com/all-star and make your vote count. Now, it all ends at 2 o'clock, so all of you that are on social media, reach out to your friends and tell them to log on to bluejays.com and vote for your Blue Jays, and you only have about 40 minutes left, so make sure you call around to your friends. His first pitch is outside to Dylan Moore. Moore had a big blow in the game last night, a 3-run home run in the 10th. He had a 3-hit game. He did a good job last night swinging the bat, raised his average up to 198 with those 3 hits. There's a good pitch fastball on the inside corner, ball in the strike.
Patience.
We talked about the offense in the open as far as the offense, they can score runs, so this early 2-run deficit not a big issue for the hitters.
Yeah, not at all for the Jays. You wouldn't want to see it, but it happens. Dylan Moore, that home run you were talking about last night, Buck, patience was important. He got himself into a 3-1 count, and he said, you know what, I'm going to search for a ball that I can hit and hit hard, and he did. That was the big blow in the 10th inning, the difference in the ball game.
1-2, that pitch outside, a changeup in a good spot, was fouled back to the screen. Moore's got a little power despite his average under 200. That home run was his 7th of the season. The Mariners as a team have only hit 98 home runs. Blue Jays lead all of baseball with 117. There's another breaking ball pulled foul by Moore.
Long at bats, just like in last night's ball game. The Seattle Mariners were tough on the Blue Jay pitchers last night. They had long extended at bats. You know, they had their share of strikeouts, but they were tough. They fouled off a lot of pitches. They kept innings alive. They ended up putting up 9 runs on 13 hits against the Jays last night.
Another pitch fouled back, 89 with the fastball. Yeah, despite their low batting average as a team, they have had some important at-bats and clutch hitting. You mentioned they're hitting .218 as a team compared to the Blue Jays, who are second in the American League at .266. Outside, 2-2 now.
Yet the Mariners have won 11 of their last 15 games. They're averaging about 5 runs a game over those last 15 games. They're hitting their share of home runs, but they're getting great pitching, and they play very good defense. And Charlie Montoyo has said that before. If you get good pitching and play good defense, you'll figure out how to score enough runs to win.
All right, that's always the starting point, isn't it? You catch it, you throw it over, you're going to get deep into a game and keep it a close game. Ryu said, here's a 2-2 curveball. He strikes him out. So first strikeout of the game ends at the top of the first, but Seattle scores 2 runs on 3 hits and a sac fly. extra innings. And let's take a look at Charlie Montoya's lineup here this afternoon. The Blue Jays are 4 games over 500. Marcus Semien's got a 7-game hit streak, and he's doing some damage over those 7 games. He's got 7 doubles and a home run, and he's driven in 9 during that hot streak. Bichette, Vladdy Guerrero, Teoscar Hernandez, top of the order has been phenomenal. Springer, Grichuk, Gurriel. Espinal gets to start at third with the left-hander Ryu on the mound, and Reese McGuire back behind the plate. He has earned the right to play almost every day with that .315 average.
Blue Jays will face another lefty. Yusei Kikuchi will get the start today. He's had a very good season. 5-3, 334 earned run average. Opponents hitting just 194 against him. It seems like he's throwing harder. He has struck out 87 batters this year in 86 innings pitched. Kikuchi is coming off a pretty good outing where he beat the Chicago White Sox before they came here to Toronto. In fact, he's won his last 4 decisions for the Seattle Mariners, pitching much better with a lot of confidence lately.
He got out to a rough start. He had a .570 earned run average over his first 4 starts, but has turned it around since. He bounces the first ball in there to Marcus Semien. As Pat mentioned, he's pitching very well of late. He's got a 5-2 record with a .244 earned run average over his last 10 starts. He pitched his best game of his career against the Blue Jays back on August 18th, 2019 at Rogers Center. A 2-hit shutout. Swing and a miss by Semien. The only hits in that game, Randall Grichuk and Brandon Drury got the only hits for the Blue Jays against Kikuchi. Ball and a strike to Semien. Down for a ball.
Kikuchi is mainly fastball cutter. You're going to get an occasional slider and every now and then a changeup, but he's going to come after you with the fastball, and he's going to use that cutter. He likes to get it in to the right-handers.
There's a drive to left field, hit high and deep, and this one is gone. Off the top of the fence and out of the ballpark. A leadoff home run for Marcus Semien. Blue Jays don't get discouraged when they're trailing early.
I'll tell you, because they can hit and they can hit for power, they're never out of games. Kikuchi, he doesn't give up a lot of home runs. He'll give up his share of home runs with that cutter down and in, and that's danger zone. When you're facing somebody like Marcus Semien, who's got that type of power, home run number 20, and really, that was a no-doubter for me. He hit it so hard, it got out of here quickly.
Hit his 20th double last night. Now he has 20 home runs, as Marcus Semien has been terrific. Top of the order for the Blue Jays. And here's Bichette, takes the first pitch strike. Kikuchi now has surrendered 14 home runs this season. He gave up just 3 all year last year, mind you, just in 9 starts. But the home run has been a bit of a problem for him. Bo has a mighty cut and fouls it straight back 0-2.
He will reach back for a little something extra. That one was 96 miles an hour. He'll stay around 92 to 94. Bo loved what he saw there on that 0-1 pitch. I love that. Show the pitcher you're not afraid, that you're seeing the ball, and that you'll take a mighty hack if you have to.
Curveball is pulled foul down past third. You're right, and we talk about these guys, these young players on this Blue Jays roster, and Pat mentioned in the open that this is the youngest position player roster in the majors. They just don't care about the score. They just go up there hacking. They know they're going to score runs, just a matter of time. Bo covers that outside pitch, and he's the best on the team at taking care of those pitches down and away with 2 strikes just to foul them off.
Bo was talking about this young team after the ball game last night. He said, look, we're just going to go out there. We're going to try to improve. We don't care what the score is. We just want to have good at-bats. And it really, throughout the whole team, it's a way, as that ball's up and away, make the count 1-2 to Bichette. It's a mindset with these young guys, and it has really caught on. And I'll tell you what, they put together good at bats, and I don't care what the score is. They're going to give you a grinding at bat.
There's a hot shot down to third. Seager makes a nice play. Bichette's retired. Marcus Semien leads All-American League second baseman in home runs and RBI. Now he needs your help to get to the All-Star game. Time is running out. It all ends at 2 o'clock, so make sure you log on. Vote for your Blue Jays today at bluejays.com/all-star. 5 of your Blue Jays need your help to get to the All-Star game. Marcus Semien and Vladdy Guerrero lead in their respective position voting, first and second. Bo Bichette needs a lot of help at short. He trails Xander Bogaerts, so make sure you log on and vote for Bo Bichette there, too. Randall Grichuk and Teoscar Hernandez, they're still in the hunt in the outfield race, so get online and vote for your Blue Jays on bluejays.com/all-star. Here's Vladdy Guerrero. He hits a ground ball. They play him in the shift. That's J.P. Crawford who has it. 2 away.
And Vladdy was 0 for in last night's ball game. 0 for 4 with a walk and 3 strikeouts. They've been pitching him tough. A lot of pitches up and in to him, and he's been hitting that ball on the ground to the left side. So he will have to make that adjustment.
He has set such a high bar for himself. Whenever he has a game like that, everybody goes, "What's wrong with Vladdy? Boy, he really had a bad game." Yeah, he's hitting .339, folks. There's Teoscar Hernandez. He takes a ball in the dirt for ball 1.
Teo is just on the outside in all-star voting for outfielders. Silver Slugger Award winner last year. He has brought that same kind of intensity and that production into this year. So got to get him into the all-star game because he deserves it.
There's a good cutter down and in. He swings and misses. It's a ball and a strike. Teoscar has done a remarkable job in turning his career around. He is a hard worker, a very humble guy, kind of a quiet guy, and he really puts in a lot of hard work, takes a lot of pride in his work. He's become a very respectable outfielder. And there's certainly a lot of upside with the bat. I think he's got a high ceiling as far as a productive hitter.
I love him that he's got the high intensity, but he loves to play the game. You always see him with a smile on his face and having a good time, but when you're behind the scenes, he's a very hard worker and he's very intense.
Kikuchi bounced that ball in the dirt. It's 2-2. Kikuchi from Japan, pitched many years for the Seibu Lions in the Japanese Professional Baseball League. He had some big seasons over there, and he was just one of those terrific pitchers that made the transition very effectively. Breaking ball pulled on the ground. Another ground ball to the shortstop. Crawford has it, and after the leadoff home run, Kikuchi has 3 ground ball outs. But Marcus Semien hits his 20th home run of the season. For the Blue Jays, it's home run number 118, the most in the majors.
Very lovely gesture.
A nice gesture indeed, Hazel, as Alec Manoah understands the significance of Canada Day and wanted to show that he is respectful of that. It'll be interesting to see his return tomorrow as he comes back from that 5-game suspension. This is Shed Long Jr., the left fielder. He played on Tuesday in the opener and came off the bench last night. Had a pinch hit single in the 10th inning. Part of a 3-run inning. That set the table for Dylan Moore's 3-run home run, the difference in the ball game. 2-1 game. Cutter missed outside for a ball. It's 2 balls and a strike.
Got a surprise that Shed Long is in the lineup just by he has really struggled against left-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. He's hitting under 100, but then you look at their bench and they've got 2 guys on their bench. So it's out of necessity that he gets the start today against Ryu.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Taylor Trammell and Tom Murphy, the only 2 players on the bench. Trammell is an outfielder, the left-handed hitter, and Murphy's the other catcher. But Scott Service is kind of thin on the bench, as they have a lot of arms available in their bullpen. They just got Marco Gonzalez back off the paternity list, so they lost another backup catcher in Donovan. Walton, he went down. So Shed Long is caught looking at strike 3. 1 out.
That is a good sign if he's hitting that outside corner against lefties. It's been the problem, okay, for about the last 3 or 4 starts. The command on all of his pitches aren't there. He will have 2 or 3 of his pitches and he'll find a way to get deep into the ball game. Earlier in the season, he had all his pitches working. So that's a good sign that he's starting to get that fastball zeroed in.
There's a fastball in there for a strike to the catcher, Luis Torrens. Torrens scored the run to start the 10th inning. He was the ghost runner at the beginning of the 10th inning as he made the last out of the top of the 9th, and he scored on the home run by Moore. Another fastball inside, and Ryu looks like he's switching gears a little bit now, trying to establish his fastball a little more consistently.
And if you do that, I think that's going to make the changeup that more effective. He's got the fastball, the changeup, the curveball, the cutter a little bit more, trying to be aggressive this bottom part of the lineup.
Fly ball deep to right field, just about a foot short of the fence as Torrens flies out. Teoscar Hernandez finished last year as a Silver Slugger. Now Teo needs your help to vote him in as a starter for the All-Star game. Phase 2 of the voting is almost done. It's over at 2 o'clock Eastern time, so make sure you log on. Visit BlueJays.com/All-Star and vote for your Blue Jays starter. There are 5 Blue Jays that need your help to become starters for the All-Star game. And it all ends in about 25 minutes. There's Jake Fraley. He's the center fielder. Fraley did not play in the game last night. He was in the center field in the opener and went 1 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Well, there's another good fastball from Ryu, and that is a good sign.
Yeah, a good sign that you can take that fastball, paint it down and away to the lefties or into the righties. You know, you do that, you start to feel like you're getting a little bit of rhythm, then everything else is going to work together too.
Missed with the cutter away. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Ryu gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in the first inning. And now he's retired 5 straight. He's a veteran. It's all about making in-game adjustments. He started to wind up and throw that pitch, and then I think the location was off where he wanted to go. He made a good pitch, didn't get the call. He was headed for the dugout. Thought it was strike 3.
Now, how do you take that one with 2 strikes just off the plate? That pitch. In his last start, Ryu had a walk in the first inning. Then he had a couple of hits to start the second. That's when he started to find it. Started to find his rhythm, started to find his release point, and retired 15 in a row from the second inning on.
There's an inside changeup, and that's going to go out of the ballpark. Jake Fraley with his 6th home run. He wanted the changeup inside, and Fraley was all over it with 2 strikes. Hits it out of the ballpark after nearly striking him out on the previous pitch. Ryu comes back with a changeup, and Fraley hits it out of the ballpark.
Thought he was going to fool him after that fastball, thinking that Fraley was going to go back out there, but he throws the changeup over the middle of the plate. Reese McGuire sets up on the inner half. Fraley recognizes it and pulls it into the seats in right field. So from elation, thinking you have the strikeout, to another run, another home run given up.
Yeah, and that's the difference. And you talk about emotion and mindset. You make a good pitch, think the at-bat's over. Now you got to regroup and come back and make another good pitch. And he missed his spot with that changeup. Back to the top of the order. J.P. Crawford had a double to right field his first time up, and that time he fouls it off his leg.
He is turning into a pretty nice player for the Seattle Mariners. They got him from the Philadelphia Phillies. He's going to play shortstop for a long time for this team. Good fielder. And if you're going to start a rebuild for your team. I think the one position you can really start saying, let me go find a good young shortstop who's going to catch the ball, make the routine play, give me some offense. He's that guy for the Mariners.
Yeah, Crawford is just 26 years old. He played all year long as a 26-year-old, and he's been a nice addition to this team. And I like your point about solidifying shortstop first. 2-1 pitch, breaking ball, foul out of play, 2-2 now.
I think it's the most important position on the field. You have to have a shortstop who makes the routine play. Flashy, okay, that's all right. Make those tough plays. You're going to make those every now and then. But give me a guy who's going to make the catch every time. When it's on the ground, it's going to be an out. And J.P. Crawford can do that for sure for the Mariners.
There's another pitch on the outside edge that Ryu didn't get to call. Another good fastball, just missed by an inch or so off the outside corner.
Good take. Mariners did this in game 1 in this series. Really ran the pitch count up against Robbie Ray. Robbie ended up having 10 strikeouts through 6 innings, but he threw a lot of pitches to get through 6 innings.
Came right back again. Now Ryu's questioning the home plate umpire about that pitch. Pete Walker is letting Ryan Addison know he thinks that those pitches are strikes. Watch Ryu's reaction.
He thinks it's another one. That's 3 or 4 just this inning, saying, hey, you know, where do I need to get this ball? Reese McGuire was set up on the corner and didn't move very much. So he's going to have to recalibrate here and make sure he gets that ball just a little bit closer.
Yeah, you know what? People think all the time, as Guerrero and Crawford are playing a little bit of game over there, but everybody thinks, oh, what's the big deal? It's just one pitch that was missed. No, but it changes the whole sequence of the at-bat. Pitchers like Ryu set up hitters for a particular put-away pitch, and then they don't get the call, and now they've got to throw another pitch in a tough situation. There's a strike. It's a first pitch strike to Mitch Haniger.
No more evident than that at bat against Jake Fraley. He thought he had him struck out to end the inning, and it was just off the plate. He had to rethink, okay, I had him set up for that pitch. I didn't get the call. Okay, now what do I go to? He chose the changeup, knocked it out of the ballpark to get that run back. Now he's got to deal with the top of the lineup again.
There's a good changeup, and Haniger swings and misses. Ryu's ahead 0-2. That's the 9th pitch that Ryu's had to throw after he thought he struck out Fraley. So you strike out the number 9 hitter, you save 9 more pitches, you start off with a clean inning to the top of the order. It changes the entire sequence for a pitcher. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Seattle with a 3-1 lead, and Ryu will give a courtesy toss over to first. Jake Fraley hit a home run with 2 outs on a changeup down and in. The Mariners have now hit home runs in 10 straight games. That's their 99th home run of the season. 0-2 pitch. Ground ball through the right side for a base hit. Haniger goes the other way. Crawford will stop at second. So the walk to Crawford, and then Haniger gets another hit. He's 2 for 2, having a heck of a road trip.
Yeah, I can't argue with the idea to go down and away against Mitch Haniger. He's had some tough times hitting that ball down and away. He's had the 3rd lowest batting average on balls down and away over the last couple of seasons. That time he did a good job of staying on that ball and just punching it through the right side, continuing this inning.
With Pete Walker out to talk to Hyun Jin Ryu about this sequence. Looks like he's talking a little bit more to Reese McGuire. Talking about sequencing, I'm sure. A reminder, 15 minutes to vote for your Blue Jays to go to the All-Star game. The voting stops at 2 o'clock Eastern time, so make sure you log on to bluejays.com/all-star-vote and make sure you reach out to all your friends on social media, because you only can vote once. So make sure you reach out as many times as you can and let your friends know they got to get online and vote the Blue Jays to the All-Star game. Make them starters this year in Colorado. Here's Kyle Seager. He had an infield hit, drove in a run in the first inning. This all began with a 2-out home run by the number 9 hitter. And we mentioned how the Mariners have gotten a lot of production from the 9 spot in their batting order this season. They have really come up with a lot of big hits from that 9 hole. First and second, 2 outs. And Seager gets out in front of that, hits it off the end of the bat. It's a ball and a strike.
That looked like his hit in the first inning, right off the end of the bat. He cued it right off the end and dribbled it up the third base line. Espinal had to make a decision. He did. And Seager beat it out. He's their best. And he's had the most hits with runners in scoring position for the Mariners this year. So you got to pitch him tough.
Now Ryu finally gets a call on that fastball on the outside corner, down and away. It's called the strike, and he's ahead of Seager.
That looks a lot like the pitches that were called balls to Fraley and Crawford. At that time, he gets the call.
Yeah, I'm sure Ryu thinks the same thing that you just said. And there's a ground ball up the middle, but there's Bichette right behind the bag at second. The inning is over, but the Mariners get another home run. Jake Fraley makes it 3-1 Seattle for this year's All-Star game. George Springer will lead things off. The Blue Jays trail 3-1. Springer takes a pitch down for ball 1. 10 minutes and 43 seconds left in the voting, so log on. Get on social media, tell your friends to log on and vote for the Blue Jays. He takes a strike right at the bottom of the zone. It's 1-1 now, and Springer confirming that that's as low as your strike zone goes. That's the umpire, Ryan Adderton. That running fastball moved inside for 2-1 count.
You can see that running clock down there in the left-hand corner, just 10 minutes to go. Fans in Canada have been great over the years getting Blue Jays to the All-Star game. This is a little bit different this year. I'm sure they are going about their business and trying to get the Jays there again. You know, one other point, Buck, you can do it through the computer. You said get on social media. Heck, get on the old-fashioned phone and start calling your friends and start having them to get on there and start voting for. We got to get Bo in there. And Vlad, it looks like Vladdy and Semien have a really good chance. We got to get Bo up there. He's closing the gap to Bogarts, but you only have now less than 10 minutes to do it.
Springer fouls it straight back. He took a borderline strike away. Yeah, the Blue Jays have 4 batters with 50 or more RBIs. No other team in the majors has more than 2. So to say that we're just tooting the horn of our hometown players, that's not the case. These guys deserve to go to the All-Star game. They're having first halves that are All-Star worthy for sure. Springer takes one downstairs for a ball. It's a full count now.
I like what I'm seeing from George Springer the last couple of nights. His patience at the plate. He's always had really good strike zone awareness. That's why he's been a leadoff hitter for most of his career. But we've talked about the timing issues, and looking at him the last couple of days, his timing looks like it's coming back quickly.
He hits that ball on the ground. J.P. Crawford has been busy today. That's the 3rd ground ball he's handled so far. Springer's retired. The outfielders, they're going to take the top 3 outfielders in this voting. Mike Trout is on the injured list, as is Byron Buxton. And you see Teoscar is just 1 percentage point behind Buxton. And Randall Grichuk is right there. He too is within striking distance. So get online and vote for these outfielders as well, because you could push them into a starting role at the All-Star game. And certainly they are both worthy of getting a nomination and a nod to the All-Star game for sure. So you've only got a few more minutes, just over 7 minutes left. Here is Randall Grichuk. He takes one upstairs for ball 1.
Grichuk has had a great first half. 54 RBIs now for Randall. Very respectable. 269 batting average and power. He's become a complete hitter, I think, this year. You throw him down and away, he'll shoot that ball the other way.
Rando's done a great job of coming up with big hits, clutch hits, and there's no analytics for that. And the manager knows when it's a big hit, tough situation, tough pitcher, down to 2 strikes. Randall has been consistent in his ability to come through in those situations. That one's way outside for a ball. It's 2-1. But you know, Pat, you've been on teams when you know there are certain guys who want at the plate with the game on the line, and Randall has been that kind of player for Charlie Montoyo.
Yes, he has. And I think it all starts with his mindset. He says he's in a good place mentally. I feel very positive and very confident in those types of situations.
Another ground ball. That's 5 ground ball outs for Kikuchi after giving up the leadoff home run to Marcus Semien.
Better have a strong left side of the infield if you've got a pitcher like Kikuchi throwing ground balls. Again, fastball, cutter, occasional changeup. They do have a good left side of the infield. Seager and Crawford have gobbled up everything in this series for the Mariners. Crawford, both of them are Gold Glove winners. Crawford won the Gold Glove, and Kyle Seager has won a Gold Glove. That was a few seasons ago.
There's Gurriel Jr. takes a first pitch strike from Kikuchi. Gurriel had a big night hitting in the 8th spot last night. 3 RBIs. He had a sac fly, an RBI single, and a solo home run. His home run in the 8th inning tied it up, made it a 6-6 game. And he goes after that cutter down and in, swings and misses. It's 0-2.
Got a little bit long there. He was guessing a certain pitch, didn't get it. His swing was a little bit long. Pitchers, especially left-handed pitchers in these situations here with 2 strikes, have been throwing Gurriel a lot of changeups down and away lately.
He elevated that fastball at 97, but it was just a tad high. Remember, if you've got 5 minutes to log on to BlueJays.com/All-Star and make your votes for the Blue Jays All-Star candidates. There are 5 of them, and then make sure you log on and give your votes and send these boys to the All-Star game. Breaking ball hit down the right side, but that'll be out of play, foul.
A slow breaking ball away. That's where they have gone with 2 strikes to Gurriel. That time he was able to just foul it off. Timing's getting a little bit better for Gurriel. He's really added a lot to the bottom of this lineup since he started hitting.
Another foul back. That was a fastball at 97. Kikuchi's got a little better fastball, like you mentioned earlier, Pat. His fastball has been up to 97 in this game.
We saw him a couple of seasons ago, and he didn't throw this hard. It was maybe 3 or 4 miles per hour slower than his best fastball. But recognized and watched some of his starts this season, he's throwing a lot harder, and his record is better. His ERA is better, and he's giving them innings that they need.
Another ground ball to Seager. And Kikuchi's got the ground ball working after giving up the home run. 6 in a row retired on the ground. And don't forget to log on to BlueJays.com and vote. Only a couple of minutes left. And the clock is ticking, folks. Log on and vote for your Blue Jays. Randall certainly deserves a chance to go to an All-Star game this year. 3-1 Seattle. Ty France hacks at the first pitch, a big slow curveball. France had a sac fly in the first inning, part of a 2-run first. Jake Fraley hit a 2-out home run in the second inning, and that's where we stand now. The Blue Jays run came on a Marcus Semien home run, his 20th home run of the season. There's a good fastball. Ryu's got a little more velocity on his fastball today, Pat.
Yeah, in that start against Baltimore, the velo was down, so he had to make some adjustments. He said there was a couple pitches that were working, a couple pitches that weren't working. I had to go to the ones that were working. All in all, he gave him 6 2/3 innings and got the win against him. That's what makes him so tough, that when things aren't working well, as that ball is fouled down the left field line, keeps the count at 0-2. When one pitch isn't working or another one isn't working, he has the ability to go to something else and until he can find that other pitch. Right now, changeup hasn't been good to him lately. He said, I'm going to work on that in between these starts. But the fastball seems to be ticking up just a little bit.
Boy, there's a good changeup right in a great spot. Tough play down the right side. Vladdy Guerrero makes a heck of a play. That's a tough play for a first baseman, running away from the infield. Caught the ball over his shoulder just as he slid to the ground. A terrific play by Guerrero.
He was the only one who was going to make this catch. The second baseman, Semien, was shading him up the middle. Teoscar was shading him into the gap in right center field. The athleticism of Vladimir Guerrero on display right there. Over the shoulder, like a wide receiver going down for a bomb. He catches it over his shoulder to get that first out. He has looked outstanding at first base.
Charlie Montoya was asked about that this morning, and he said, you know what, Vladdy Guerrero is the most improved player. He moved to first base last year, but now he's a true first baseman. He understands all the nuances of the position, and he's played very well. Here's Jake Bauers. He takes a fastball off the plate outside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Bauers flying out to center field in the first inning. Downstairs, that missed. It's 3-0 quickly to left-handed batting Jake Bauers.
Yeah, still not as sharp as he has been earlier this season, but he will find a way.
There's a fastball on the outside edge. You know, when you really think about it, and Ryu, like Vladdy Guerrero, has set a high bar for himself, and whenever he's below that bar, everybody's wanting to know what's wrong with Ryu. 3-1 pitch, comes right back and throws strike 2. But Ryu, over his career, has pitched so many innings that he never panics. And you know, you talk to most veteran starters, they go to the mound maybe 30, 32 times a year. Everything might be clicking maybe 7, 8 times a season out of 32 starts. So Ryu has been exceptional in his career. Comes right back with a good fastball. That one was 92.
The fastball is important for him. He has talked about that, how everything builds off of his fastball. When he's got a good one and he's able to move it on the inside part and the outside part, that's when then he can start to do different things. Take a little something off, use the changeup, use his slow curveball if he has to, but he has to get that fastball in a good spot, and he loses another batter.
Paint the corners like a pro at Home Hardware's Paint and Reno sale with to July 14th. Hurry into Home Hardware and Building Centers. Here's how.
Hyun Jin Ryu with his second walk of the ball game walks Jake Bauers with 1 out here in the 3rd. And here's Dylan Moore, strikeout victim his first time up. He struck out on a curveball from Ryu. Ryu throws to first base, and he's tough to steal on. His career, he's always been able to neutralize the running game. He doesn't have a terrific pickoff move, but he mixes up the time so effectively that base stealers don't get a good read. And he's got a very short stride to deliver the pitch to home. It's tough to run on.
Yeah, he's very quick. That's what you want to see. You know, pitching isn't just about throwing strikes. You have to field your position. You have to hold runners. You got to give your catcher a chance to throw them out if they decide to steal. He's been able to do a little bit of everything in his career.
And you know what? He's relatively new to the majors. You know, he came up with the Dodgers in 2016, but he's got 2,200 innings of experience and goes back to Korea, of course, but he's pitching like a veteran. And there's a line drive that hangs up for Grichuk in center field. Dylan Moore's retired. That's the second out of the inning.
got himself into a fastball count like last night, and he had to throw him a fastball, and he hit it hard. He's just a little bit off right now. Said pitches aren't working, but you know, as the game goes along, he should find it. The problem with that is, though, he's been averaging about 15 pitches per inning. You know, if this is an extended at bat, he's going to be up to 70, 75 pitches through 3 innings.
Yeah, and that's certainly not a good formula for staying into a ball game deep. As he got Shed Long to foul back that first pitch. Long was called out on strikes his first time up. One of 2 strikeouts for Ryu. He has walked 2 and struck out 2. Seattle has a 3-1 lead as they bat in the top of the 3rd. Ryu hasn't gotten any calls on that glove side of the plate, the third base side of home. Everything that he has thrown has been really close, but just off the plate. Not enough for the umpire to give him that called strike. That ball is hit hard, high and deep to right field. This ball is gone into the bullpen in right center for Shed Long. His 3rd home run of the season, 2nd homer of the game for Seattle. And this is a 2-run home run.
It's got to be very frustrating not getting that outside part of the plate, and then you've got to come back in against a guy who's really not a home run hitter. Shed Long just now has 3 home runs. He's hitting .059 against left-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. You don't get the call down and away. You've got to challenge him. It's over the middle of the plate, and he's given up his 2nd home run to a left-handed batter today. This one really, and no doubt about it, to right field.
Luis Torrens, the catcher, fouls off the first pitch. As Seattle, they have not really fared well as far as their OPS against left-handed pitching. They have the 3rd lowest in the majors. Only the Tigers and the Pirates have a lower OPS against left-handed pitching. That's not been the case today. Ball and a strike on the Mariners catcher. 5-1 Seattle. And Ryu has, as Pat mentioned earlier, now thrown 73 pitches. Another pitch inside, and he has been off on that glove side of home plate.
Yeah, just has not been able to find where he needs to get the call or get that ball in the strike zone. It's got to be awfully frustrating when you go out there and you don't have your pitches.
And like we said, no, he's never going to panic. He's still going to try to figure things out. And obviously he's well aware of the offense that he's pitching for. You can stop things and put up a couple of zeros, and the Blue Jays can certainly come back. Ground ball to second. Semien has it, and Torrens is retired. That ends the inning. But the Mariners have scored in all 3 innings so far in this game. They lead at 5-1. Espinal, McGuire, and Sipp laying their way up to the All-Star break, just about the halfway point for Major League Baseball. College World Series just wrapped up. Mississippi State beat Vanderbilt in the final game, 9-0. Here's Santiago Espinal. He's in the 8th spot, playing at third base this afternoon. Espinal's done a nice job as a backup infielder, playing a lot of third base. He's made his 25th start today at third. Goes after that ball, another ground ball. Kikuchi's got the ground ball working so far. That's 7 straight ground ball outs by Kikuchi.
And all of them to the left side of the infield. Crawford and Seager have fielded all of those, all 7 of them, handily. They're also giving a workout of Ty France over there at first base. A lot of those throws have been off the mark from the left side of the infield, but he's been able to gather and get them and record the out over at first base. His slider, Kikuchi's slider, has been really good in the month of June.
So Reese McGuire comes into this game batting .315, and he's been a real nice bat, bottom of the order for the Blue Jays. He takes the first pitch fastball down for ball 1. Reese is 28 for 89 for the season. Of course, he started out in the minor leagues. He's got 7 doubles, a home run, and 5 RBIs. He hits this one down the left side and slicing into foul ground. Shed Long's got room, makes a nice running catch on the warning track in foul territory. That's the first out in the air recorded by Yusei Kikuchi.
Yeah, it was a pitch that was away. He's telling himself to stay back and drive that ball towards home plate. The ball was up, and Reese just popped it to left field. Here's the only guy who's had any kind of success against Kikuchi here today.
Marcus Semien at his 20th home run, leading off the ball game for the Blue Jays. And he goes after the first pitch. Good fastball and fouled it back. Marcus is a terrific fastball hitter, and he felt like he had a pretty good pitch to hit on that first pitch and was just a little bit late on it. 2 outs, bottom of the third. Seattle with a 5-1 lead. Another fastball. That's a ball. 1-1.
52 RBIs for Semien now with that home run. As you see, Pete Walker's on the phone to the bullpen, and Blue Jays have got some action already in this game. Looks like Patrick Murphy's up.
There's a liner into center field in front of Fraley, so Marcus Semien is 2 for 2 already. Couple of well hit baseballs for the leadoff man. 2-out single here in the third.
It's such a simple approach at the plate, not a lot of movement. He uses his hands very well. Doesn't go out and get that ball, just take the barrel of the bat to the baseball. Very quiet approach, very simple approach. He's now 2 for 2. Good at bat there against Kikuchi.
Semien with 20 home runs. That's the third highest home run total of his career. He had 27 home runs in 16 and 33 in 2019. Bo Bichette bends back from an inside fastball. That straightened him up.
Bo was looking for something out over the plate. Don't know if it was a slider or a cutter. And he goes, he almost walked right into that one. It was up and in. As he was looking for the ball away, and they crossed him up and threw it in.
What a cut by Bo Bichette after they low-bridged him with a fastball. He comes right back and puts a heck of a swing on it. You see Patrick Murphy loosening up for the Blue Jays. Ryu has thrown 76 pitches in just 3 innings, and he has not been sharp, obviously. He's given up a pair of home runs and trails 5-1. Way outside. 2 balls and a strike.
Watching Bo swing the bat, if I went out and tried to do that, I think I'd pull every muscle in my body right now. He is so limber and so loose, and that helps him get that bat head out, that he can go out and get that. Got great hands as a hitter.
Well, he really had a good swing at that fastball and missed it. It was a pretty good pitch to hit. The one thing that Bo is able to do and allows him to have so much power for a guy that's not that physically big, he completes his swing. I mean, there are no half swings in his approach. When he commits to a pitch, I mean, he goes all in. And that's why he's able to hit the ball so hard. He fouls it off as he's gone into his 2-strike approach.
Bat speed. You got to have bat speed, I think, to be a good hitter. If you have bat speed, you could wait just a little bit longer and still connect on a good fastball. He has that for sure. And Vladimir Guerrero's got good bat speed. That's the one thing, if you're a scout, you start to watch young hitters who's fast, who can get the bat head out in front, and they never seem to be late.
That's a great point, because everybody is about, how hard does he hit it? Where does it go? But when you watch good hitters, they all have that same trait. They can get that bat to the baseball. And that time, Kikuchi threw his best fastball, and Bichette strikes out. 98 with the heater. Blue Jays will leave a base runner on, and they have been supporting those people that took good care of them, and Tyson and Alex. Alex's older brother Tyson is headed to college, going to play college lacrosse. So congratulations to Tyson, and Charlie and his family very grateful for everything that has happened to them and how well Alex has responded. Jake Fraley takes a pitch up and away. It's 0-2. Fraley hit a home run on a 2-strike changeup down and in back in the second inning. Well, Fraley, that was his 6th home run of the season. And Fraley asked for time as Reese McGuire was offering several different options, and Ryu didn't agree with any of them. Went away with a fastball and missed.
Yeah, he thought he had him struck out last time on a pitch that was away, and then came in with the changeup, and Fraley knocked his 6th home run to right field. Keep that ball away from him.
And that ball is away from him, and it's fouled out of play. Down the left side into the seats. Right back up the middle, and Ryu couldn't make a play. It looked like he deflected it a bit, but it gets past Bichette, goes into center field, and Jake Fraley is 2 for 2.
In his last start, he had a similar ball come right back through the middle like that and got out of the way, knowing that the defender was right there. This is just a reaction. Bo would have made that play as they were in the shift, but it was a reaction from Ryu, a natural reaction to his glove side to try and catch it. But unfortunately for the Jays, he ricochets it and knocks it away from Bichette, and another leadoff hit for the Mariners. That is their 7th hit already this afternoon.
Patrick Murphy is standing ready in the Blue Jays bullpen. He got up and warmed up in the bottom of the inning. J.P. Crawford has been on base both times he's come to the plate. He had a leadoff double in the first, and he walked and was stranded in the second. Ground ball. This could be 2. Semien flips to Bo for 1. Back to first, not in time. And I bet you Seattle looks at that play at second base, because the ball hung up in the air a little bit and threw the timing off for Bo. It looked like he had gotten to the bag and then has to kind of wait for that little lob to come down. I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle has a look at it.
You've got to be on the base now. You can't be in the neighborhood. Good play by Semien when he goes to throw it. Bo was trying to keep that right foot on the base. Let's see from this replay if we can see it. It's just hanging out there like a changeup. He did everything he could. Not sure what the umpire called, and not sure if they're going to take a look at it, but Bichette did a heck of a job as he was waiting for that changeup that was thrown to him, and he tried to finish it off over at first base.
Yeah, Seattle's not going to challenge the call, so it's a force out at second. Here's Mitch Haniger. He goes after the first pitch and hits it high and deep to right. Teoscar's got room right in front of the 371 mark. He hauls it in as Crawford hustles back to first. Haniger is retired on a long fly ball to right.
They've kept the ball away from him, and he has responded with a single to right, another single to right field. He thought he had extra bases there. Boy, that play, I'm telling you, that play by Bichette at second base might have turned this inning around. He had to stay on there. His momentum was taking him off the base, but somehow he stayed on that base, caught the ball, got the out at second base. That was huge. And now Ryu can get out of the inning if he can retire Kyle Seager.
Crawford Doesn't run a lot. He's got 3 steals, and he's been caught 3 times. And we had mentioned how tough Ryu is to get a jump on. Seager is 1 for 2. He had an infield hit his first time up. A little dribbler up the third baseline has stayed fair. Espinal picked it up, fired late to first base, and a run came in. Quick throw this time. Crawford is back. On that infield hit, Vladdy Guerrero was charged with an error when he couldn't come up with the catch on Santiago Espinal's throw. His 4th error of the season. The only error committed in this game so far. Crawford's got a big lead. Not running. Lined right to Guerrero. Seager hit it hard, but it's a line drive out to end the inning. Mariners will leave a base runner. First time they haven't scored in an inning this game. Has been ridiculous with his home run here. And Washington is all of a sudden back in the hunt there in the National League. Shohei Ohtani got knocked out as a pitcher in last night's game. He was charged with 7 runs as he left the game after 2 outs, but the Yankees gave up a big lead in the 9th inning and lost that game. Guerrero goes after the first pitch. Aroldis Chapman gave up his first career grand slam last night to Jared Walsh of the Angels. Chapman walked 3 of the first 4 batters he faced, and Walsh hit a home run that tied the game at 8-8. And the Angels came back and won it. They scored 3 more runs off Lucas Luetge. Guerrero takes an inside pitch for a ball. It's 1-1.
You mentioned the Washington Nationals. Remember when we were playing them earlier this season? They didn't look very good. Guerrero takes that pitch just off the plate, and they were talking about selling off some of those players. Well, I think they're going to be buyers now. They're just 2 games out of first place in the National League East. And thanks to Kyle Schwarber, who has been red hot, hotter than anybody in baseball right now.
Mike Rizzo, the GM of the Nationals, talks about the 2021 season being much like the 2019 season when they got off to that terrible start. And he kind of called everybody on the carpet and says, fellas, we're going to turn this around. And boy, did they ever. They won the World Series. And they have turned their season around for sure. Guerrero takes one downstairs. It's 3-1 now to Vladdy. Leading off the 4th inning. Blue Jays got some work to do against Yusei Kikuchi. They trail by 4. They have just 2 hits. A leadoff home run by Semien, and Semien has a single. That's it. There's a leadoff walk. That's a start for the Jays.
Yeah, that is a good sign right there. They tried to mess with Vladdy, and he wasn't going to do that. So he'll take his walk and turn it over to Teoscar, who has had a lot of success against lefties this season.
Teoscar grounded out to shortstop as Kikuchi really had that ground ball working. He had retired 7 straight on ground ball outs to the left side of the infield. Reese McGuire snapped that streak with a pop foul down the left field line. So here's Teoscar getting his second look at Kikuchi. Upstairs, ball 1. This is what the Blue Jays are really good at. They really sense when a pitcher is struggling, and they don't chase a lot of pitches. Vladdy had the count in his favor, 3-1, took a ball 4, and now Teo not anxious to get a hit, just looking for a good pitch. Borderline strike. It's 1-1 now.
That's been their strength this year, to be able to just keep that line moving, have long at bats, really put a lot of pressure on the pitcher. Teo's had 18 hits this season against left-handed pitching, and 11 of them have been extra base hits. So he's looking for that ball inner half.
Kikuchi's had a good fastball early in this game, up to 98 miles an hour. That's what he struck out Bo Bichette with to end the 3rd. Vladdy Guerrero drew the leadoff walk. Ground ball to short. Crawford to second for 1. Moore back to first. Double play, and that leadoff walk is erased. The Mariners turn more double plays than anybody in baseball.
Yeah, that's going to be number 86. Taylor made right to him. I don't know what that cutter or that slider is just under his fastball, and it's got the timing of the Blue Jay hitters out in front, especially the right-handers. A lot of ground balls to the left side of the infield. Hit it to those Gold Glovers on the left side. They're not going to miss it.
And here is George Springer. He jumps back from an inside fastball. Springer hit one of those ground balls to shortstop, his only time up. He gets jammed and hits a little nubber. They were playing him in the shift, and Springer beats it out. And he'll take it. It wasn't a bullet. It didn't have great exit velocity, but it's a base hit with 2 outs.
I'm sure we can find the numbers, but we sit here and we watch a lot of games and we see a lot of this. That should be a ground ball right to the second baseman, inning over, but because they have him way shifted onto the left side of the infield, no chance for Dylan Moore, the second baseman, to run it down, come up with the play. Ty Francis saying, hey, don't even make the throw. Springer's going to beat it. Keeps the inning alive. And that time they were crossed up, and it hurt them being in the shift.
And Grichuk now with a chance, takes one right at the bottom of the zone. Grichuk thought it was low, and it may have been. A low strike against Grichuk to start the at bat. Two outs, Seattle with the lead, 5-1. Rando hits it in the air, not that deep. Shedlon coming in, Fraley coming over. The center fielder makes the catch, and the Blue Jays will leave another base runner. Well, go to the 5th. Seattle has a 5-1 lead over the Blue Jays. Time now for a Blue Jays Central.
It's him 4 innings. The ERA jumps from 341 to 365. Couple of walks, couple of strikeouts, home runs, 2 of them to left-handed batters. That's something that we haven't seen. So it's his second shortest outing of the season. He had 3 2/3 against Tampa Bay earlier this season. He'll give way. Patrick Murphy will come in. Murphy pitched in last night's game and was actually the loser in the game. Just threw a 3rd inning, gave up a couple of hits, 3 runs, just 2 of them were earned. ERA now at 8.44 for Murphy. 6th time he has used since he has been recalled.
Yeah, I think Charlie Montoya wants to find out about Patrick Murphy after he gave up that home run last night. Run him right back out there, put him back on the horse, and see how he responds. Of course, Pete Walker and Charlie Montoya are looking for anybody to be consistent out of their bullpen. And Murphy's got a good fastball. He also has a very good curveball, but I think he might lean too much on the curveball. And use his fastball a little bit more, and then use the curveball and set it up with his heater. Use the curveball to finish at bats. Ball and a strike to Ty France. Good fastball there, fouled off at home plate.
And so far in this at bat, he's used the curveball to set up the fastball. So he is ahead now, 1-2. Got to be careful with this guy. He's dangerous, and he's been swinging a hot bat. Got an RBI today with a sacrifice fly in the 1st inning.
Patrick Murphy turned 26 on the 10th of June. There's a curveball hit hard right to the shortstop. A one-hopper. Bichette rights himself and throws the first one down.
Boy, Bo's interclock that time was really good against France. He didn't hurry himself, took his time. This will show it right here. Picks that ball. He knows he has some time. He sets himself, gets his feet underneath him, and throws a strike over to first base. That's how you make those routine plays right there. If it's hit at you, catch it and get the out.
(5-1) Mariners. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Jake Bauers, he goes after the first pitch. Fastball is lifted in the air. Not that deep. Rando Grichuk camped under it. He makes the catch. 2 outs. Now a message from Off.
Enjoy your summer pest-free with Off mosquito and tick repellent. Off, live on.
Well, a good start to his outing for Patrick Murphy. Murphy got up to the big leagues last year for the first time. He pitched in 4 games. And he has had a lot of promise throughout his minor leagues as he has worked his way up to the big leagues now. Started out the season with a shoulder injury. Took him a long time to get over that injury, and then he had to rehab, and now he's back in the big leagues. There's another fastball to get ahead. Dylan Moore has gone 0 for 2 so far.
Yeah, and a little redemption right here for Patrick Murphy. It was Dylan Moore who touched him up for that big 3-run home run. And last night's ball game, the difference in the game. Let's see if he can come back and get him. He fell behind 3-1. Served up a fastball that Moore hit over the left field wall for a home run.
Like I said, it's a good opportunity to find out what Patrick is all about. See how he handles this at bat here. Ball and a strike with 2 outs. Bounce that curveball. He's a 2-pitch pitcher, and that's a little tough if you don't throw that curveball for strikes, as the hitters are aware of it, and then they can just sit on the fastball as Moore did last night. There's a fastball. It looked like Moore was sitting on breaking ball. He takes it for a strike.
Yeah, that one was right there. That looked like the pitch that he hit out the ballpark for the home run yesterday. He clearly has a pitch on his mind. And a good breaking ball. So cross him up again.
They appear to first base. No swing, according to first base umpire Nick Lentz. He checked his swing on that hard curveball.
He crossed him up. He thought he might go back to the fastball. Murphy and Reese McGuire went with the curveball. It's a sharp curveball. He's been able to throw it a long time. He says, I learned it when I was a little kid. It's a good one. A little bit inconsistent right now. And he doesn't get the call from the first base umpire. Done.
He went after that one. The high fastball at 98. Moore strikes out. Murphy has a 3-up, 3-down inning with a strikeout. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Bottom of the order for the Blues.
7th last year. They are 2nd this season. In the month of June, they averaged 5.5 runs a game. That should be enough for you to win a lot of games. And they did. They won 14 games in the month of June. So those hitters are getting better, I think, with each month that passes. They're gaining so much more experience.
Building a contending team is a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. You can see how the offense has gotten better in each of Charlie's seasons, and now they're right up there with the best in baseball. Lately, the starting pitching has been good. And obviously, we know all of the issues the bullpen has had, but it's a process. You have to build block by block to become a consistent contending ball club. So they have a young offense, as Pat mentioned earlier. They have the youngest offense in baseball. So now you're going to have that for a few years. You got to make sure that you keep your starters intact, and now you've got to shore up the bullpen and the defense a little more. 2-1 pitch right on the corner. Now it's 2-2.
I think what that board shows you, the growing pains that the Blue Jays went through as they built this offense, went with a lot of the young players in 19, went with the growing pains as the pitchers were ahead of the young hitters. But now they're starting to catch up as Gurriel lines that ball to right field for the first out, caught by Jake Bauers. But it's going to just keep getting better. Buck, I went back and I looked at the month of June. I thought the Blue Jays hit the ball really well. They played 26 games in the month of June. Exactly half of them, they had 10 or more hits. I mean, that is hard to do, to get 10 hits in a major league game. But in 13 of them, they had at least 10 hits. So the consistency, I think, so far in the month of June at least, was up and down the lineup.
Santiago Espinal will step in with 1 out. He takes the first pitch strike. Kikuchi's had a good fastball all afternoon. I think the magic number for wins in a month for teams that want to contend is 15. You win 15 games a month, that gives you 90. And then you add a game here and there. You have a hot month. You get up to 17, 18, 20 wins in a month. And, of course, you become a division champ. So I think the goal is 15 wins a month consistently over the course of 6 months. And that's all about just day in and day out preparation, just becoming consistent. And the hitters have done that for Montoyo. The starters have started to turn that around, certainly with the emergence of Ross Stripling. And now it's about getting a consistent bullpen put together. And like I said, it's a process. Espinal with a good cut, fouls it straight back.
Blue Jays won 14 games in the month of June. And, you know, I think if you look around baseball, there's a couple of super teams that are really good, but everybody's about the same. So I think you need a good hot streak where you win 12 out of 15 or 15 out of 18 to really get you into position to get into the playoffs. And you have that one really sustained hot streak, get you into the playoff picture, and then play sound fundamental baseball the rest of the season. You're going to be there. The Blue Jays have played well over the last 10. They're 8-2 over their last 10, but I don't see that consistent yet, day in and day out for a 2 to 3 week period.
Espinal swings and misses at that slider down and in, and he strikes out. 2 away. But you go back over the last 10 games, and the offensive numbers are impressive. As a team, they've hit over 300, scoring almost 7 runs a game, and they've gone 8-2. The big caveat with that is that they have played the Orioles and the Marlins, and they've taken advantage of those last place clubs. So I think, too, when you have a young team, young teams have to learn how to bring it every day and just go about the same every day. And the Blue Jays offensive players seem to be able to do that. Now they've got to get the rest of their club to understand the importance of defense. Everybody loves to hit. Not everybody really acknowledges the importance of defense, but I think if you're going to become a consistent winner, that's what you're going to have to do. Reese McGuire takes one down for a ball. It's a ball and a strike on the Blue Jays catcher.
10 games is 1/16 of the season. Not a whole lot. Getting hot, you know, is like 2 to 3 weeks where you stay hot. And I love the mindset with a lot of these young players. You talk to them and you listen to them on the Zoom calls, and they're like, hey, we're just going to come to the ballpark every single day and try and win a ball game. That's what you need. You can't ride the waves of a major league season. You can't go up and go down. You just want to stay nice and even and just go out to the game and try and win series, win that day, whatever it takes, and then over a long period of time you're going to have that hot streak. Blue Jays are still waiting for their extended hot streak this year.
Well, the Blue Jays are 4-5 against Boston. They're 2-5 against Tampa Bay. They're 2-4 against Houston. You know, the better teams in the division. And those are the teams they're going to have to play, you know, at least 500 against. You play 500 against the top teams in your division, and then you beat up on the also-rans, and that's when you get into a consistent postseason mode. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fouled off by Reese McGuire. Kikuchi has maintained his velocity here in the middle of the game.
After today's ball game, there's 9 games until the All-Star break. 6 of them are going to be against the Tampa Bay Rays. And the Rays, obviously, an outstanding team. So you talk about wanting to play some good baseball going into the break. Well, they're going to have their chance because they're going to be facing the Rays in 6 out of those 9 games.
Big breaking ball. McGuire strikes out. Kikuchi puts together another 3 up, 3 down inning. The Blue Jays go quietly in the, and he takes a lot of pride in his defense, and he wants to be a complete player. And you really have to commend Randall, because he has said it time and time again. I didn't know how much I was going to play this year with the addition of George Springer. So he has kept a positive attitude. He's worked hard at the plate. He's worked hard in the field, and he's having a terrific season. Patrick Murphy with a good first inning, and this is a big inning for him. We have seen it early on in his career that when they send him back for that second inning, it seems like He's not the same pitcher. Put together another good inning. He retired the side in order in the 5th. That ball is popped up, and it's going to slice out of play down the left side.
Yeah, he has done that. You mentioned Murph has gone out there and he's done a heck of a job for the Jays. When he gets that first inning, when he gets that second inning under his belt, that's where he has run into problems. This is the 3rd time that they have sent him out for a second inning. He got reached for 3 runs in a 1/3 of an inning after that first inning in Baltimore. He also threw an inning and 2/3, did not give up a run. So it's just a being able to stay sharp, go down, sit down while the team hits, then get back up and get that, juices flowing again, and then be able to find that strike zone. He's got the stuff to do it, that's for sure.
No question about it. And, in this day and age, most pitchers are 1-inning pitchers. And the industry has just created that. They go for matchups and just go back and forth. Well, they can't pitch 2 innings. His pitch count is too high. But I think you need guys to come back and give you multiple innings according to different situations you're going to run into. There's a fastball hit on the ground. Semien is there. 4 in a row retired by Murphy. But yeah, it's just a product of the industry now, where everybody is like, oh, I'm a 1-inning guy. So when they walk off the field after 1 inning, they have a tendency to shut it down mentally. When I had Dan Plesac as a relief pitcher, he would come in after an inning and he'd come right to me and said, am I still in there? Because he wanted to maintain that same focus. And I'd say, yeah, you're still in there. He said, okay. Then he'd go down the end of the bench. Sometimes I'd say, no, that's it, you're done. Then he would shut it down, and then he knew that, okay, he did his job and it was over. But a lot of these guys walk off the field after 1 inning thinking that they're done, and then it's tough to crank it back up.
Yeah, so true. And if you train them for 1 inning, they're only going to be able to give you 1 inning. That's why I think down in the minor leagues, if you've got relievers, you got to give them multiple innings. You got to get them stretched out and have these type of outings where, you might get into trouble. Hey, I got to get myself out of this trouble that I found myself into. That happened to Patrick in yesterday's game. They started the inning with the runner at second base, obviously because it was extra innings. He got a fly ball out, then a base hit, and couldn't get out of that inning after giving up the 3-run home run. I love that they've thrown him back out there today after that rough one last night where he got the loss. Throw him back out there, show me what you got. And obviously he's got the stuff to do it.
He missed with that curveball, and I agree with you. I think this is terrific for him, and he's probably very grateful for the opportunity so he can erase the memories of that 3-run home run last night. But I think, and you made a great point about in the minor leagues, but I don't think you should develop relievers in the minor leagues. I think you should take your best pitchers and let them all start so they have as many innings of experience as they can gain. There's a curveball beaten foul out at home plate. Patrick Murphy was a starter early in his career, and he's made the transition. But if you take your best pitchers at each level and let them start, let them pitch 5, 6, 7 innings, and they'll learn how to pitch. I don't think you should develop closers down in the minor leagues. I don't think closing a game in the minor leagues is anything like closing a games in the big leagues.
Not at all. Not
1 ball, 2
close.
strikes.
Yeah, you got to get innings and experience. You got to be able to get hitters out. You got to find yourself getting into trouble and then figuring ways to get out of it. What pitch is going to work for me that day? I think a lot of times I'd like to see pitchers pitch through when they're tired, because there's going to come a point during a big season, a big 162 game season, as Torrens lines that ball in the left field for a base hit, where you're not going to feel 100%. You might be tired, but you have to fight through it and figure out a way to get through it. So we will see as Torrens takes a curveball with 2 strikes and laces it into left field. That is hit number 8 this afternoon for the Mariners.
Yeah, that was just kind of a rolling curveball. Didn't have a lot of snap to it, and Torrens was able to put the bat on the ball. If you talk to veteran pitchers, David Cohn, for example, Jack Morris, guys like that, I think the entire thing is about they learned how to pitch through adversity. And who's the best pitcher on the Blue Jays staff? It's Hyun Jin Ryu. And he's got over 2,200 innings of experience. So he came up as a 19-year-old in Korea, took his lumps, learned how to pitch in the big leagues, and became a very good major league pitcher. One of the best in baseball since he's come over from Korea. But it takes a while to develop pitching, and I think the industry overall, not just the Blue Jays, but overall, are way too protective of young pitchers. You know, they don't pitch, and they put too much emphasis on velocity instead of emphasis on pitching and changing speeds and commanding your fastball. Those are all the things that the good pitchers do. One out, we're in the sixth.
He falls behind again, ball 2 to the number 9 hitter, Jake Fraley. Fraley's had a nice afternoon so far. He's homered. He's also singled. Adam Simber is now up in the bullpen. You figure he was going to pitch in this ball game. He is getting loose.
3-0 now, and Murphy has run into trouble here in his second inning, and this is what we were talking about, maintaining your focus and coming back on and getting consistency where the manager can rely on you and say, okay, you got through that inning. Now he's dealing with 7, 8, 9 in the lineup, and he got the first out, and he gave up a base hit to the number 8 hitter. Now he's behind the number 9 hitter, 3-0. And he walked him. He walks him on 4 pitches.
A moment made for Blue Jays superfans. Rogers is giving you a chance to meet Jose Bautista and Joe Carter virtually. Enter now at rogersmoments.com/baseball.
So Pete Walker has come out of the dugout. Another teaching moment for Pete. And as you've heard me say many times, I really respect Pete Walker as a pitching coach. I think he's tremendous at finishing off major league pitchers, changing up their mix, changing up how they use their pitches. He does a terrific job, and he's had his hands full this year. And he's done a great job with some of the starters, Ray and Ryu, and Steven Matz and Ross Stripling. I mean, he's got his fingerprints on all those guys.
He went out there with a definite message from Charlie Montoyo and what he has seen. They'll have a game plan to get through this inning, and they'll say, okay, you got Crawford, and then we're going to bring in the reliever. You got the next 2 guys. He likes the fastball. Do
First
this. I mean,
pitch
they'll have a game
bounce
plan
to Espinal, and Semien drops the ball, but it's a force out at second as Crawford went after the first pitch. Torrens moves to third. That wasn't really a double play ball with Crawford hitting it as he runs too well.
Right off the end of the bat, he's had a nice game. Blue Jays can only get one, the middle of the diamond. Espinal was in, gives a good feed to Semien. Marcus was trying to be a little bit too quick, dropped it, no problem. They still got the out at second base. But that will end the afternoon for Patrick Murphy as he will pitch an inning and 2/3.
Adam Simber will make his Blue Jays debut when we come back. It's a 5-1 Mariners lead here in the 6th. Outs, and he'll turn things over to Adam Simber making his Blue Jays debut. He had pitched 33 games for the Mariners before the trade, and he's done a pretty good job. He's not a strikeout guy. He's all about contact and getting ground balls.
He's got great strike throwing ability, elite ground ball type of pitcher. They need an out right here. 33 games that he was used in Miami. Pretty impressive. 34 innings. So he's a 1-inning guy. Looks like they might use him to maybe end this inning and then give him one more. But just 11 walks and 21 strikeouts in those 34 innings. Sinker, slider. He throws from sidearm.
That pitch is inside, and it's kind of interesting. Mitch Haniger is the batter, and he is the only Mariner that has a plate appearance against Simber. He is 0 for 1. First and third, 2 outs. And slider, he got underneath it and missed the inside. 2-0.
Simber has inherited 14 runners this year. Only 3 of them have scored. It can be tough on righties. You can see from that shot right there how he comes from sidearm.
Gets a ground ball. This should end the inning. Bichette goes to second for the force out, and good job by Adam Simber. He inherits a couple of base runners and strands them both. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. The Blue Jays top of the order when we.
So he will lead off the 6th inning again. He's already 2 for 2.
He has 2 of the 3 Blue Jay hits so far. George Springer has an infield hit the other. That's all they've managed against Kikuchi. Way off the plate inside for ball 1. Time for the Blue Jays to cut into this lead. 3rd time they have faced Kikuchi. Top of the order. Semien, Bichette, and Guerrero. Kikuchi, we have seen this from several Japanese pitchers that have come to the major leagues, how they hesitate and pause. They get a real good balance point over the rubber, and there's a little hesitation where they really gather themselves very effectively. Great balance point. Dale Nomo did that.
Tanaka would do it. We'd see a lot of them, but I don't know if that is messing up the timing of the Blue Jay hitters, but for some reason they have not been able to pick up his pitches so far today. Marcus Semien has. Everybody else has been thrown off by his hesitation.
Now this time Semien strikes out. That's a good slider from Kikuchi. Just the 4th strikeout of the afternoon.
Highest strikeout percentage since June the 1st with the slider. You say Kikuchi is right up there. He will use that to finish off batters. Fastball, cutter mostly, and then slider to finish it off. That's 3 strikeouts in a row for the left-hander.
Well, Bichette is 0 for 2. And there's a fastball in the dirt. Kikuchi bounced that heater right behind home plate. Bo struck out on a good fastball, maybe the best fastball Kikuchi's thrown all afternoon back in the 3rd inning. 98 miles an hour. He rips this one into right field for a base hit. That pitch was up out over the plate. He just took a nice smooth swing and gets his first hit of the afternoon.
Who does that any better than Bo Bichette? You get fooled by that pitch, it beats you, but he still keeps that level swing and inside outs that ball to right field. High leg kick. That swing is so level. That's how you hit line drives, and I don't think there's anybody in baseball who does it better than Bo Bichette.
It's really interesting how close the numbers are for Semien and for Bichette. Marcus has 2 hits today. Bo has 1. Now they both have 93 hits for the season. Vladdy Guerrero has 96 hits. He's in 2nd place in the American League. Cedric Mullins of the Orioles has 99 hits. He's the outright leader in hits in the American League. But the Blue Jays have 3 of the top 5 hitters in hits in the American League in their lineup, batting 1, 2, and 3.
That's what you want to do. Get them right at the top of that lineup so they keep flipping it around and your best hitters come up. Bo and Marcus, they each have, they're in the 50s in RBIs. They started today both hitting 285. I mean, what a tandem at the top of the lineup to get on base as much as they do, just giving RBI opportunities to Guerrero, Hernandez, and Springer.
Big swing by Vladdy. Look, a little bit of an off-speed pitch from Kikuchi, who was down and away. Mentioned Kikuchi had his best start of his career a couple of years ago at Rogers Center. He threw 9 innings, a shutout ball, allowed just 2 hits. Another changeup that bounced in the dirt, down and away from Vladdy. 2-2.
Good take. He walked his last time up after grounding out his first time up. Starting to zero in on Kikuchi. Again, not a lot of experience from the Blue Jay hitters against the left-handed pitcher this afternoon.
Ground ball. Crawford to second, Moore to first base. Another double play. Second double play turned by the Mariners this afternoon. And that ends it. We'll go to the seventh. Kikuchi in control. Ziegler, but he's more of a sidearmer. Ziegler had a terrific career, and of course the Blue Jays had a terrific submariner in the 80s in Mark Eichhorn. Eichhorn really threw down, and Eichhorn was a traditional starter over the top, and then they made the adjustment in the minor leagues, and he became a very effective pitcher. Simber got out of the sixth inning, getting a ground ball for the force out to end the inning, and he gets ahead of Kyle Seager here. But Simber, to keep this delivery was challenging for him as a kid. Even when he played on travel teams, the coaches said, well, what are we trying to accomplish here with this windup? And Simber stayed with it. Now he's a pretty effective big league pitcher.
Yeah, with elite stuff that he can get ground ball outs with. You mentioned Mark Eichhorn. Ike had that frisbee slider, meaning that it would really spin and freeze a lot of right-handed batters and left-handed batters. I don't think Adam has that. He's got a good breaking ball. He's got that slider also and that sinker, and he can elevate that fastball. A lot like Darren O'Day. Darren O'Day is like that, and Darren O'Day comes up a lot of times with 2 strikes. Adam Simber does the same thing.
Yeah, these types of pitchers have always had problems retiring left-handed hitters because everything is coming into them, and that's what Simber does right there. He said, I've had more success against lefties by elevating the pitch, because when you think about it as a left-handed hitter, your mind tells you that everything's going to be sinking down and away, so you have a tendency to lean over out of the plate, and now Simber's elevating the fastball, and it's been effective. There's a cutter and slider inside as that missed the plate. It's 2-2 now.
Yeah, wanted that backdoor that one at the beginning, but then held on to it a little bit too long. I think what he brings to the Blue Jays, along with experience, and he's pitched in the postseason, which is important, gives them a different look out of that bullpen. That sidearm type of delivery, got to have different looks out of the pen.
Well, Bichette makes a catch on the pop-up as he got inside on Seager and gets the first out. I caught a guy that was the ultimate submariner many, many years ago, and a lot of people won't even remember his name, I'm sure, but Ted Abernathy was a terrific pitcher for 14 years in the majors. He racked up 149 saves, and he pitched with us in Kansas City for 3 years, 70, 71, and 72, and he had 23 saves as a 38-year-old using that submarine pitch. And his slider would literally go up. He was so far down underneath that he would throw that slider and it would break up. And he was a tough customer. He had a heck of a career over 14 seasons.
I don't remember. I didn't know you caught Ted Abernathy back in the day.
I'm old, Tabby.
I remember watching him when I was a kid when he pitched for the Cincinnati Reds, as Jacob Barnes is starting to throw for him also. Abernathy, it looked like he was throwing the ball underhand, like a softball pitcher. That's how far down under he went, and got great movement on his pitches also.
Abby had 28 saves for Cincinnati in '67. And 31 for the Cubs in '65. He led the National League in saves in both of those seasons. Here's Ty France, and there's a good pitch, but low at 89 miles an hour. Simber throws a little bit harder than most submariners. You know, most guys like Dan Quisenberry, who is a terrific closer for the Kansas City Royals. His fastball was, you know, it was mid-80s, and he had great command. And there's a strike right at the outside part of the plate. 3-2 now.
As a hitter, you just have to set your sights differently, and it can really mess you up as a hitter if you're not used to facing guys like this. Normally you see him right over the top. You got to look down a little bit lower, and the ball's going to move just a little bit differently.
Little tapper right out in front of home as McGuire gets on it in foul territory and touched it. Now a message from TD.
Who makes your season special? Nominate them for a chance to win great prizes at BlueJays.com/TD MVP Spotlight.
So Adam Cimber in his first outing with the Blue Jays has faced two batters and retired them both. Ground ball, and that's going to sneak through for a base hit. Guerrero dove for it. It was beyond his reach, and it gets past Semien for a one-out single for Ty France.
He's had a good series against the Blue Jays. He has come up with some big hits for them. He had the big 3-run home run the other day. Sacrifice fly, got an RBI today, and now he's going to push one the other way. When you've got a guy like this, like Adam Cimber, who comes under your right-handed hitter, you got to wait a long time to watch that ball move. He's able to inside out that ball and just get it into the outfield for the base hit.
Jake Bauers, the right fielder, he takes that inside slider and hooked it foul. That ball was coming inside. Looked like it was going to hit him in the belt buckle, but he was able to get the bat on the ball. Bauers is 0 for 2. He walked and scored in the third. He has flied out twice. There's a pitch on the outside corner for a strike.
Bauers should know all about Cimber. They were teammates in Cleveland. And he knows that that fastball is a sinker. He'll throw that slider that'll come in on him.
And there's that pitch up in the end as Bauers strikes out. That fastball, he elevates it inside and ties up the left-handed hitter.
It's an illusion from a righty sinker baller from down under. That's a great shot of it right there. It's like it's rising to you as a hitter, an optical illusion as that thing coming in. Tough to catch up to it. It's a great pitch from a guy like this with 2 strikes, elevating that fastball.
And that ball jammed Moore right in on his hands. Dylan Moore had a home run last night. He's 0 for 3 today. It's a different look. And when you think last year to the Tampa Bay Rays, how many different arm angles they had down in their bullpen. They had every kind of arm angle, lefty, righty. It didn't make any difference. And they gave you a different look every time they went to the bullpen. I think that's what the focus is with Cimber. He's not going to strike out a bunch of guys, but he can come in and get quick outs. He throws a lot of strikes, and he'll keep the ball on the ground.
And he can get right-handers out. That's what you need. Get ground ball outs. You know, if you have any thoughts of getting into the playoffs, you have to have that mix down in that bullpen. Guys who can strike you out, ground ball specialists. Not so much lefty specialists anymore because of the 3-batter rule, but lefties who can get, you know, lefties out. And Cimber just adds to that for the Blue Jays, giving them a different look in that pen.
Last ball away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cimber was drafted originally by the San Diego Padres out of the University of San Francisco. You don't think of that as being a great baseball school, but Bradley Zimmer, a high draft pick by the Indians, came out of the University of San Francisco as well. That's another pitch up and away. And you go back several years, Justin Spire, who pitched 3 years in Toronto and had a 12-year career in the big leagues. He went to the University of San Francisco, as did Gil McDougall, who was a great infielder for the Yankees, and Jerry Coleman, the infielder for New York and the announcer for San Diego forever. There's another ground ball. Easy play for Bichette, and Simber has an easy inning. Gives up a ground ball base hit and nothing more. Kikuchi had really been pitching well over his last 10 starts. He was pitching to a 244 earned run average, and he has continued that here this afternoon. 6 strong innings. He's allowed just 1 earned run on 4 hits. He's walked 1 and struck out 4. And he's done it all with just 86 pitches. He has really neutralized the potent Blue Jay bats here this afternoon.
He's won his last 4 decisions. There was another one in there at Cleveland where he threw 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, and got a no decision. So he has been pitching really well for the Mariners lately.
Teoscar Hernandez goes after the first pitch and swings and misses. It was upstairs. Might have been a ball. Kikuchi gives up the base hit down the right side. That's going to be extra bases for Teoscar. He's around first, headed for second. He'll jog in there with the leadoff double. His 13th double of the season. And the Blue Jays get the leadoff man aboard here in the 7th.
Biggest improvement that we have seen from Teoscar Hernandez over the last couple of seasons, his ability to hit the ball the other way. Earlier today we were showing you the Blue Jays, how they have gotten better over the years in scoring runs. I think a lot of that has to do with the approach like this, being able to hit the ball the other way. Teoscar has become a dangerous hitter when he hits that ball to right field.
Kikuchi is making his 56th career start here this afternoon. He has 1 complete game. That was against the Blue Jays. 9 innings, 2 hits, a walk, and 8 strikeouts back on August 18th, 2019. And he's replicating that here today. George Springer had an infield hit his last time up. He hit a little dribbler to the second base position, and they continue to play him in the shift. The infield is playing him around toward left. The first baseman, Ty France, is way off the bag at first. Dylan Moore straight up the middle. Off the plate for a ball.
We have seen that a lot from teams that the Blue Jays haven't faced for a couple of seasons. They're looking at those old scouting reports and saying this guy's a dead pull hitter right here, so we're going to put our defense over there. But this year we have seen the righties especially go the other way.
Springer with a good cut, but he misses that pitch. It was up and away. It's a ball and a strike to George Springer, who's DHing this afternoon.
Kikuchi's up to 90 pitches. He threw 90 pitches in his last outing, but that only got him into the 6th inning. His season high is 106, so there's a few more in the tank for him.
Springer took an awkward swing at that fastball away. He might have been expecting something else. 1 ball, 2 strike count on George Springer. Teoscar Hernandez at second with a leadoff double. Blue Jays have a run on 5 hits. The Mariners have 5 runs on 9 hits, and Seattle has hit 2 home runs this afternoon. There's a breaking ball down and in, but it's off the plate for ball 2.
I've been impressed with his command and control. They're just kind of walking around out in the bullpen now for the Mariners. Nobody's really getting loose, but I've been impressed with his command and control. He's thrown some really good pitches this afternoon against the Blue Jays. Down and away or down and in to get those ground balls.
Strike 3 call. Springer thought it was low, but he's caught looking at a fastball. First out of the inning, that low fastball right at the knees.
That's another quality pitch with 2 strikes. It's 96. He still has a pretty good fastball, but his command and control has been really good. Right at the knees. Springer thinks it's low, but the home plate umpire calls it a strike. 5 strikeouts now for Kikuchi.
He's had that good fastball all afternoon. Here's Randall Grichuk. He takes a fastball for strike one. The Mariners, they're a little thin in their bullpen. JT Chagua threw 27 pitches yesterday. Montero threw 57 this week. And Drew Streckenrider threw 52, so they might not have those three guys available. Seventh inning. The teams have split the first two games of this three-game series. It goes after a high pitch, swings and misses. It's 0-2.
He has really stayed on the edges against the Jays this afternoon. I can't recall too many pitches right down the middle. A lot of them down and into the righties or on the outside corner. That time he went upstairs against Randall to get strike two. But he has made some quality pitches.
Changeup missed down and away. The Mariners will fly back to Seattle and start their final homestand before the All-Star break. They will play 9 games in 10 days. The Rangers will be in Friday night. Then the Yankees for a 3-game series, followed by the Angels. So they'll play 9 games in 10 days, going right into the All-Star break, all at home. Another good changeup, and Grichuk strikes out. 2 down.
He's been throwing that fastball up, slider down and in. He said, I got to change things up. Third time through the lineup, I got to throw my changeup. He missed the previous pitch. This time he got a little bit closer, and Randall swings through it.
2 strikeouts now. Lourdes Gurriel will step to the plate with a runner at second base. Gurriel has gone 0 for 2 so far. He tried to check his swing and went around. The appeal down to first base umpire Nick Lentz, and he said he went around, so it's a strike.
They just have not been able to pick up that breaking ball. That cutter, especially to the righties, getting it in on them. They were looking fastball, crossed him up with the breaking ball, and just have not been able to pick up the spin this afternoon against them.
That's off the catcher's mitt, going all the way back to the backstop as Teoscar will move up 90 feet. Fastball took off on Torrens.
Down on one knee again. He wants the ball down, but it's up, so he just can't get up there fast enough to catch it. Blue Jays will gladly take that 90 feet, get to third base. These are big runs for the Jays. They haven't had a lot of opportunities to score runners. They just haven't had a lot of runners on base. They've only left 2 this afternoon. But a run here, another run there, and then you're within striking distance as you get to the 9th inning.
Ground ball, another ground ball to the shortstop. Crawford's had a busy day, makes quick work of Gurriel, and that will end the inning. The Blue Jays get a leadoff double and strand a runner at third. We'll go to the 8th. Seattle still leads at 5-1. New pitcher into the game is Jacob Barnes, as the Blue Jays got a good outing from Adam Simber. Barnes has pitched well since he's joined the Blue Jays, and hopefully he'll continue to do that and get more important outings as we go along.
He was acquired from the Mets about a week ago, and this is going to be his 4th game already for the Blue Jays. A couple in the Baltimore series that he has pitched. He has already pitched once in the Seattle series. Fastball, cutter, split change, a little depth slider for Jacob Barnes, and been a go-to guy. He last pitched a couple of days ago, through 28 pitches to get through that inning. Just a walk and a hit given up, but no runs.
First pitch is outside to Shedlong Jr. The home run that he hit in the third inning was the 100th home run for the Mariners this season. It was the third home run for Long on the season. He is 1 for 3 today. It's a fastball strike. It's 1-1. Off the plate, 2 balls and a strike now.
Barnes in that game against the Mariners the other night, showed a pretty good fastball, pretty decent slider. All 3 outs were recorded by strikeouts. So the more work he's getting, the more confidence he is getting from the coaching staff. Blue Jays right now just looking for anybody who can get some outs, especially late in ball games.
2-2 now. Charlie Montoya, Pete Walker. It's been a real challenge for them to find some consistency in their bullpen where they can go down there and close out games. Today the offense has been kind of shut down, just 1 run on 5 hits, but the offense has been consistently good and strong, scoring a lot of runs all season long.
Now they got to shut him down right here. Barnes has 7, 8, 9. The other day he faced the middle of the lineup, the best that the Mariners had to offer. Struck out Haniger, struck out Seager, and struck out Dylan Moore. In between those strikeouts, he gave up a double and a walk. That's why his pitch count was so elevated at 28. Well, they gotta like his arm.
He missed with that slider downstairs. It's a full count. But I think the relievers down there, they know what's at stake. There's a lot of opportunities in this bullpen for the Blue Jays, and if you come in and pitch aggressively and record outs, you're going to get a lot of chances in meaningful games down the stretch. Ground ball. Vladdy backs up a step. He'll step on the bag. 1 down. We talk about the tragic discovery out west with the indigenous children and the residential school survivors, and I acknowledge the Blue Jays of what they've done with this. It's a tremendous tribute and something that we should all look at. I am of native California Indian background. My mom's side of the family, and my cousin is our tribal chairman of one of the biggest tribes in California, so I certainly want to send out my personal regards to all those people that have been affected by this, and it's time to reconciliate for sure. This is the catcher, Luis Torrens. Torrens had a base hit his last time up, 1 for 3. Barnes delivers another strike. It's 1-1. And we talk about the bullpen, and you see the Mariners bullpen. Drew Streckenrider, he picked up the save in the game last night. Ball and a strike to the catcher, Torrens. He fouls it back. It's 1-2 now.
Torrens doesn't have a lot of hits in this series, but what he has had is a lot of good at bats, long at bats, trying to wear down that pitcher. He had a hit his last time up, his only hit of the series, but he's had some really good at bats. Got to try and make quick work of him here. Go right after him now that you're up 1-2.
There's a call strike. He threw him that split changeup and catches the bottom of the strike zone. So Barnes gets a strikeout. Barnes caught looking.
Jacob Barnes talks about I've got two types of changeups. He says when I get to two strikes, I'll grip it and rip it. There it is right there. There's the grip. I'll throw it a little bit harder and make it work like a true split finger fastball. Early in the count, I'll just try and get it over the plate. He locks up Torrens with that one. As he gets the out, goes right after him. Good pitch.
Torrens didn't agree with the call, but it looked like it was plenty high enough for a strike. Here's Jake Fraley. He got everything going today with the home run. He added to their lead as he homered with 2 outs in the second inning. They had scored 2 runs in the first inning, and Fraley looked like he was going to be called out on strike 3. Ryu didn't get the call, and then the next pitch he hit it out of the ballpark. His 6th home run of the season. And ball just missed downstairs. That looked like another one of those splitters. 2-0 now.
Just the start to a real nice day for Fraley. The home run that he hit in the second inning. He also singled in his next time up against Ryu. And then he walked. So he's been on base 3 times today out of that number 9 position. It's been pretty good for the Mariners lately.
There's a slider that catches the outside corner. 2-1 now. We're just about at the halfway point of the season. This is game number 80, number 79. Game number 79. Of course, 81 game tomorrow. That's the halfway point. Everybody thinks of the All-Star break as being the halfway point, but this is the actual halfway point tomorrow. The Seattle Mariners will leave tonight, and then Tampa Bay will come in to wrap up this long homestand. Two and two, 2 outs. Swung and a miss, another splitter. Nice inning for Jacob Barnes. He retires a side in order with a couple of strikeouts. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Seattle leads it 5-1. As we'll go to their bullpen, as Yusei Kikuchi has given him 7 strong innings, and now Drew Streckenrider will make his 26th appearance of the season. As we mentioned, he picked up the save in last night's game.
Yeah, Steckenrider made it look easy in the game yesterday. He gave up a leadoff double to Kevin Bichette after that runner was on, but then he really elevated the fastball. There are the numbers in 29 innings this season for him. He threw an inning, gave up a hit to a run, but it was unearned because that runner stayed out there at second base. Batters were hitting just 180 against him. He threw 15 pitches in that game and really elevated the fastball right at the top of the strike zone, enough to get the Blue Jays to pick up his 2nd save of the season.
So Streckenrider will face a pinch hitter. Kevin Biggio, who had that double in the game last night, will bat for Santiago Espinal, who went 0 for 2. Biggio goes after the first pitch and lifts a fly ball into center. Medium depth as Fraley makes the catch. Sportsnet now gives you 24/7 access to live stream the NHL, NBA, MLB, and more on any screen. Plans starting at $9.99. Visit snnow.ca for details. So Biggio is out on 1 pitch as he flies out to center. Reese McGuire has gone 0 for 2. He goes after the first pitch and hits a fly ball. That's going to be a little deeper, but not a problem for Jake Fraley. 2 pitches, 2 outs.
Marcus Semien will come up now with 2 outs. First inning, he takes that pitch from Kikuchi and lines it over to left field. StatCast powered by Google Cloud will let us know that that ball left here 106 miles an hour. His 20th home run of the season, his 52nd RBI. What a first half Marcus Semien has put together.
Well, the second phase of the All-Star voting was complete this afternoon at 2 p.m. and hopefully Vladdy Guerrero and Marcus Semien will have maintained their lead in their respective positions and will have been voted on to the starting roster for the American League in the All-Star game on the 13th of July. He pops this one up and it's over near the dugout of Seattle, and the catcher is there, but it's beyond his reach, out of play.
He has had some good at bats today. He also singled to center field. He struck out his last time up and goes after that pitch from Steckenrider. Yeah, he is. It's close at second base. He's not running away with it like Vladdy is over at first base. So any votes will help, and hopefully he is going to be the starting second baseman for the American League.
Neither Vladdy or Semien have made an all-star team in their career, and obviously Vladdy is just getting started. Semien has played a while, but that would be a tremendous acknowledgement of their great starts to this season. One and two outs. Semien rips it, but foul down the left side. Boy, with 2 strikes, he's got tremendous focus. He really battles with 2 strikes, doesn't give up any at bats. He never gives up an at bat. Hangs in there against everybody.
Very quiet at the plate, and he uses his hands very well. There's not a lot of movement, so that head stays very still. That's why he's become a very good 2-strike hitter.
There's a ball downstairs, and it's a full count now. Well, Bichette will be next if Semien can keep the inning alive. Breaking ball hit the left field, and that's going to get down and go up against the fence. Marcus Semien, another hit today, his 3rd of the afternoon. He had a big game yesterday with an RBI double. In the opener, he had 3 hits and drove in 5 runs. Got a 3-run home run, and now he comes up with his 3rd hit of the afternoon.
And the approach at the plate, outstanding with 2 strikes. Again, not a lot of movement. Let that ball, he throws him a breaking ball. Look how still he is at the plate. The head doesn't move. It doesn't go out to get the ball. As he drills that ball to left field, he's got plenty of power the other way. Another extra base hit for him. He has got that average up now into the 290s after that 3-for-4 effort.
7 for 13 in the series for Marcus Semien, with a couple of home runs. Now Bo Bichette, he's got a hit today, 1 for 3. Blue Jays have but 6 hits, and Semien has half of them. Bo gets jammed, and it's one into the outfield. That's going to drop for a base hit. Semien's going to come in to score. I tell you what, if you're trying to teach a team how to hit, you should look at this Blue Jays team, because they use the whole field. That base hit hurt because Bo got jammed, but he's rewarded with an RBI single.
All good hitters can get jammed because they're waiting for that breaking ball, just like his last time up when he shot a ball to right field for his first hit. His second hit is going to cash a run for the Blue Jays. Waited a long time and fisted that ball into the outfield after the Semien 2-out double. Marcus can score easily on that soft liner into right field. That's RBI number 54 for Bichette. Blue Jays draw a little bit closer.
Paul Sewald will come out of the bullpen to take over for Steckenrider. The Blue Jays have made it interesting here in the 8th. The best teams in the WNBA, the Connecticut Sun takes on the Indiana Fever Saturday on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet Now. The action gets underway at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. Well, the Blue Jays are making a little noise here in the 8th inning with 2 outs. Here's Vladdy Guerrero Jr. He goes after the first pitch and swings and misses Paul Sewald into the game.
Sewald pitched in yesterday's game in this exact spot right here in that win for the Mariners. Outstanding numbers in 20 games. Opponents hitting 137 against him. He struck out Guerrero in yesterday's game. He's got a good fastball and a sweeping slider. There it is.
Sewald struck out Bo Bichette, Vladdy Guerrero, and got Teoscar to line out in the 6th inning in yesterday's game. Bo Bichette with an RBI single. He's at first. 5-2 Seattle leads it. That slider is a tough one, and Vladdy just fouls it back.
Yeah, he'll throw that pitch a lot. His fastball about 92 miles an hour. The slider, he takes about 11 miles per hour off that pitch, and it just keeps on breaking. He evenly distributes both of those pitches enough. He's a 2-pitch pitcher, and he can get away with it with that big slider.
Upstairs, and Vladdy strikes out. Chase the high fastball, so Sewald comes in and puts out the fire in the 8th. The Blue Jays get a run. We'll go to the 9th. Seattle with a 3-run lead. Tyler Chatwood comes on to start the top of the 9th inning, as Adam Simber, Jacob Barnes have pitched very well. Patrick Murphy had a good outing as well. So now Chatwood will take over and try to follow suit here in the 9th.
First time that we have seen Tyler Chatwood in this series. He last pitched 6 days ago against Baltimore, an inning, gave up three runs to the Orioles. Trying to get him. He was a guy that the Blue Jays really leaned on early on. Kevin Biggio stays into the ball game at third base after pinch hitting. Chatwood, they really leaned on him heavily early on in the season. Now they're just trying to get him right again.
He's lost his command a bit, and he struggled with the ability to command that fastball. J.P. Crawford's had a pretty good series against the Blue Jays. He singled and scored the first run of this ball game back in the 1st. He has since walked and hit into 2 fielders' choices. He had a terrific month of June, batting .352. He's been one of the best leadoff hitters in baseball since they put him into that position. 9th inning. Seattle trying to win the series 2-1 as Chatwood misses that outside corner. 3-0 now. Last 13 games have not been kind to Tyler Chatwood. He's had a 12-19 earned run average, and there's a strike. He's just had the lack of getting that pitch to the outside corner, something he did very effective in the first month and a half of the season. And that ball runs off the plate for a leadoff walk.
He has missed arm side, especially to left-handed batters, a lot lately. That's his 19th walk this season in 27 1/3 innings. And it's, I don't know if it's he's missing his aim or his front shoulders opening up and his arms dragging, but he's missed a lot to that arm side to all batters.
Here's Mitch Haniger. He started out with 2 hits. He's 2 for 4 on the afternoon. Had singles in each of his first 2 at-bats. That breaking ball is off the plate outside. I think Chatwood needs to shoot for a bigger part of the strike zone. He's got a lot of legitimate movement in his fastball. He's got a nice cutter and a breaking ball. Just bite off bigger chunks of that strike zone. Missed again with a slider down and away.
Reese McGuire is trying to help out by staying in the middle of the plate. He's just not being able to throw the ball to the glove. He's missing to the arm side. Now with the righty up, he's tried a couple of pitches on the outside corner and has missed, and now he misses down and in again.
3-0 again as he missed with that fastball inside. And that one was bounced in the dirt at 97. And now Reese McGuire will go out and have a little chat with Chatwood here.
Every local family-owned home hardware supports the specific needs of their community because that's what being locally owned, genuinely Canadian is all about.
So McGuire with a quick trip to the mound as Kyle Seager will step in. Seager had an infield hit his first time up, and he has since gone 0 for 3, so he's 1 for 4 on the afternoon. Tyler Chatwood has always had issues throwing strikes for his career. He's averaged 4.73 walks per 9 innings. This year, he's averaging almost 6 walks per 9 innings. And he tries a breaking ball, but that missed upstairs. Well, boy, out of the bullpen, you just can't afford to walk batters. It just encourages the opponents, encourages their offense, and they always think, hey, we're going to get back in this thing no matter what the score is. There's another ball. And he just can't throw a strike right now.
Yeah, especially again to their arm side. They got to get somebody up before this game is out of hand. It's hard to believe those numbers you were just talking about after watching him the first month and a half of the season. I mean, he wasn't missing his spot at all.
And Seager gets a fastball and rips it as Crawford's coming around third. He's going to score. Well, boy, you give a big league hitter a chance to look at one pitch when you're struggling to throw strikes, and he will hit it. And Seager picks up his second RBI of the afternoon. That'll give him 48 for the season, and the Mariners get that run right back.
He came back on. He has come back strong. Kyle Seager, after the first game, striking out 4 times. He knows that he's struggling throwing strikes, so you're looking for one pitch in one spot. Yeah, that's his 23rd hit with a runner in scoring position, the team leader for the Mariners, and that's easy for a veteran when you fall behind and you got guys in scoring position.
Mariners now lead 6-2. And here's Ty France. He gets a first pitch strike. You can hear the reaction of the crowd as they applaud that first pitch strike to get ahead. The Mariners coming into this game had won 11 of their last 15 games. So they've been a pretty hot ball club. And during that stretch, as a team, they've hit .302 with runners in scoring position. So despite the low batting average and despite the big run differential, they've come up with clutch hits and turned it into winning games. 1-1 to France. Off the end of the bat, queued up the first baseline foul.
I don't know if anybody expected the Mariners to be where they are. They started today at 42-39. And it's obviously a rebuilding, job that they're having out in Seattle. I don't think they have any thoughts of maybe overtaking Houston or Oakland, but they have played much better baseball, I think, than a lot of people anticipated this season. Getting some clutch hitting and pitching. Been getting some really good pitching lately.
Again, a very strong start from Yusei Kikuchi. And the Mariners, they've got some of their key players out with injuries. Their reigning rookie of the year, Kyle Lewis, is on the IL, and there's a pitch off the plate that France chases. That's the first out of the inning.
Yeah, slider right off the plate. That's where he lived the first part of the season, down and away. France a little anxious to get that runner in from third base, expands his strike zone, and he becomes a strikeout victim.
The batter is Jake Bauers now. Bauers has gone 0 for 3 with a walk. He scored a run. Another player they're missing is their first baseman, Evan White. He's got a hip injury. He's on the 60-day IL, as is Kyle Lewis. Lewis has a right meniscus tear in his knee. They're both eligible to be activated in July. way outside. 2 balls and no strikes, 1 out. A run in here for Seattle here in the 9th.
I'm talking about the Mariners. Help is on the way. Maybe not this year, but in the next few years. They're going to have 3 players, as Keenan Middleton is warming up. 3 players play in the Futures game over the All-Star break. So they've got some players coming out of that farm system that's going to help them in the next few seasons.
Emerson Hancock, a right-handed pitcher. Jared Kelnick, who was up earlier with the Mariners but ended up going 0 for his last 39. He was sent back to the minor leagues, and an outfielder, Julio Rodriguez, will all represent the Mariners in the Futures game in Colorado. There's a high breaking ball fouled off the bat of Jake Bauers. That Futures game will take place on Sunday, July 11th at Coors Field. Austin Martin will represent the Blue Jays in that Futures game. He is currently at Double-A. Former #1 pick of the Jays. Two balls, 2 strikes. Another foul backup breaking ball out over the plate.
I'm anxious to watch Austin in that Futures game. It looks like he's starting to get it in Double-A. He's had a couple of big games for the New Hampshire team in Double-A for him, so he'll be facing the best of the best in that Futures game. That's always fun to watch if you get a chance to watch that over the All-Star break. The great young players, there's tons of them all around baseball, and they'll be on display then.
Another foul back by Jake Bauers. Bichette has played in a Futures game. Danny Jansen played a couple of years ago in a Futures game. It's always a great treat for the minor leaguers to get an opportunity to go to the All-Star game and play on the Sunday before the All-Star break. Runners at the corners, 1 out. We're in the 9th inning. Seattle with a 6-2 lead over the Blue Jays. And that pitch is up for ball. Full count now. Dylan Moore is on deck, the second baseman. .23 pitches thrown by Chatwood as he walked the first 2 batters he faced here in the 9th. That ball is hit hard into the outfield. That's going to score 1 run. Runner from first base, Seager, will go all the way to third base as another run comes in. Haniger scores. Seager ends up at third. 2 more runs in for Seattle here in the 9th.
And they are piling on after those leadoff walks. The Mariners are going to bring them around. Some clutch hitting. Jake Bauers gets a slider out over the plate and rips it into right field. That'll score Haniger. It'll send Seager to third base. It's now 7-2, 11 hits for the Mariners this afternoon.
Yeah, and this is the worst hitting club in the American League. Came into this game batting under .220 as a team. Dylan Moore has been shut out so far. A couple of strikeouts, a line out and a ground out. Mariners batting .218 at the start of this game. And there's another high breaking ball. Taylor Saucedo, the left-hander, is loosening up for the Blue Jays. First and third, 1 out. Saucedo is ready. He's just standing by now. Patrick Murphy pitched an inning and 2/3. No runs. He gave up just 1 hit. Adam Simber pitched an inning and a third. He pitched well also in his debut with the Blue Jays. Jacob Barnes retired to side in order in the 8th. Struck out a couple. And then Tyler Chatwood came in here and working to the top of the order. He walked Crawford and walked Haniger. And then Seager and Barnes both with RBI singles. Moore, as we mentioned, 0 for 4 so far with a couple of strikeouts this afternoon.
He was the hero in the game last night with a big 3-run home run in the 10th inning. got some pop and he can run a little bit. It's going to be tough to double him up if he hits the ball on the ground.
Swing and a miss. That ball offside, a breaking ball, and more strikes out for the third time this afternoon. 2 away here in the ninth.
Slider off the plate. Again, a runner at third base, less than 2 outs. You want to get him in. But Tyler Chatwood's going to pick up his second strikeout. His afternoon's going to be over as Charlie Montoyo is going out there. And it looks like Tyler's having something to say to his manager. He wants to try and finish this inning, but that's not going to happen. Saucedo will try and finish it up here in the
of RBI singles after walking the first 2 batters. And you can see he is upset when he saw Charlie Montoyo coming out of the dugout. And it's a little surprising given what he has done lately. He has not pitched well lately, and he was upset trying to convince Montoyo to let him finish this inning. But he walked the first 2 batters in the inning and give up 2 runs, and now it's a 7-2 game. So Montoyo takes the ball from him and will hand it over to Taylor Saucedo. Saucedo has pitched a little better lately as he came into the game and got Taylor Trammell to end the 10th inning after the 3-run home run to Dylan Moore. There's a fastball that missed low. Saucedo actually got J.P. Crawford to end that inning last night. He struck out Taylor Trammell and then got Crawford to ground out. There's a good slider as Shedlong swings and misses.
Yeah, Saucedo has done a good job hitting 143 against him. This is 3 days in a row for him. Very rarely do the Blue Jays use relievers 3 days in a row, but Charlie Montoyo is saying, hey, I need an out right here. Got to come in and stop this rally right here. Get me an out.
Saucedo's been a little better at throwing strikes. I think he first came up just trying to get his feet on the ground in the big leagues. He was a little bit wild, but he understands if he's going to secure a job in his bullpen, he's got to throw it over. His stuff is good. It plays in the big leagues. There's no question about it. And he overmatches Long and strikes him out. That ends the inning. So Saucedo comes in to close out the top of the ninth. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. The Blue Jays trail by 5. Blue Jays are wrapping up this 3-game series with the Seattle Mariners, and they're going to have to come back with a big 9th inning rally. They trail by 5, 7-2. The 2 teams have split the first 2 games of this 3-game series. Teoscar Hernandez takes a breaking ball downstairs for ball 1. Seattle won 2 of 3 against the White Sox in Chicago, and they're on the verge of winning 2 of 3 against the Blue Jays. It'll be a productive road trip for them. There's a fastball for a strike. It's 1-1. The Blue Jays will welcome in the Tampa Bay Rays tomorrow night. Alek Manoah will return from a 5-game suspension to start for the Blue Jays. That's off the plate outside, ball 2. The Rays haven't announced their pitcher for Friday night. On Saturday at 3:07, Ross Stripling will go to the mound against Shane McClanahan, the young left-hander. Outside, ball 3. And on Sunday it'll be Robbie Ray for the Blue Jays, and the Rays don't have a pitcher that they've announced yet for that game as well.
After today, the Blue Jays have 3 series before the All-Star break. They'll finish up the homestand with that series you were just talking about with the Tampa Bay Rays. Then they hit the road 3 in Baltimore and then 3 in Tampa to finish up the first half, if you will, of the season before the All-Star break. This is a series I think that the Blue Jays were thinking they were going to have a really good chance to win, especially after they got game number 1 in this series. But they are 3 outs away from losing the series to the Mariners. We'll have to regroup against Tampa Bay. Tampa is tough, and they've always played the Blue Jays tough.
Tampa Bay has won 5 of the 7 games the two teams have played so far this season. If the Mariners hold on and win this, the Blue Jays will drop to 7-12 against the American League West. 3-2 pitch to Hernandez. Fouled back. Got a good fastball in, fouled it out of play. The Blue Jays, as you mentioned, will play Seattle this series, and then once again in August they'll go back out to Seattle. They go to Seattle for the weekend series, the 13th, 14th, and 15th of August. Ground ball. Seager dives, gets to his feet, fires, not in time. An infield hit for Teoscar Hernandez. His second hit of the afternoon. He had a leadoff double in the 7th and was stranded at 3rd.
That left side has been very busy this afternoon for the Mariners. They have fielded everything cleanly. Seager and Crawford have been very busy. Seager, the former Gold Glover, thought he had a shot at getting him over at first base, but Teo runs too well. He'll start the 9th inning with that infield hit.
So Teoscar with 2 hits this afternoon in 4 at-bats is back up over 300, batting .302 for the season. George Springer is 1-for-3 this afternoon. He was called out on strikes his last time up. Breaking ball off the plate inside as he takes it up and in.
Sewald ended last inning by striking out Vladimir Guerrero. And now a couple of runs have come across. It is not a save situation. Trying to finish it off, and he just doesn't look as sharp as he did to finish off the 8th inning.
Springer's got to be very selective here with the count in his favor, 2-0. Blue Jays need some base runners. They're down by 5. Way inside, not close. It's 3-0.
Well, that's what you need. You need some walks, a miscue here and there, get some runners on base, get that momentum back in that dugout. Blue Jays, I'll tell you what, they make you work for every one of the outs. If you're going to beat them, you're going to have to get 27 outs in a regular game because they will grind it out on you. And now they're just giving them a chance with the walk.
So an infield single and a walk to start things off for the Blue Jays here in the 9th, and that'll get a visit from the pitching coach. Pete Woodworth is out to the mound. Left-hander is warming up in the bullpen. There's Anthony Bichette. Bichette threw the ball in last night's game and had a good first inning, and then he gave up the game-tying home run to Lourdes Gurriel Jr. So Scott Service contemplating his next move as the Blue Jays try to rally here in the 9th. Brando Grichuk is 0-for-3. He struck out his last time up against Kikuchi on a changeup back in the 7th. Boy, those are 2 big runs the Blue Jays gave up in the 9th. Had they kept Seattle off the scoreboard, Grichuk would represent the tying run right here. But that's not the case.
I can't agree with you more. They had the opportunity. Also, they had some runners on base in the 8th inning, and Sewald shut them down. You know, Blue Jays had scored a run. They had cut it to 5-2. They had Guerrero at the plate, Bichette at first base, a chance to cut into that lead. Didn't happen. And then those 2 add-on runs in the top of the 9th inning has really made this a tough hole for the Blue Jays. Going to have to figure it out. They just need to think about getting runners on base. That's all you're thinking about right now.
And Grichuk strikes out on a slider. That wicked slider from Sewald does the trick. That's the first out of the inning.
He'll throw it about 45% of the time. Starts it at you or in the inside part of the plate and then spins it, and it just sweeps right down away from Randall. Second time that Randall has struck out this afternoon.
Lourdes Gurriel Jr., he too is 0 for 3. The Blue Jays have managed just 8 hits, and Marcus Semien has 3 of those 8 hits. Bo Bichette has 2 more, so the top 2 guys have accounted for 5 of the 8 hits for the Blue Jays this afternoon. Sewald misses badly with the first pitch upstairs.
And I think what Scott Service is thinking about with the lefty in the pen, he sees Bichette on deck and then McGuire after him. If he chooses to, he can go to that pen and get the matchup that he wants to.
Now, Kevin Biggio has been used as a pinch hitter. He stayed in the game. The Blue Jays, quite honestly, don't have much offense on the bench. Riley Adams, Jonathan Davis, the only 2 bats they have left. And rightly so. The Blue Jays have such a potent lineup. There are not too many pinch hitting opportunities up and down the order. Gurriel gets an inside slider and pops it up high over the Mariners dugout and hits in the screen and bounces back onto the field of play, but it's out of play. So Gurriel is in the hole 1-2.
And Scott Service knows that about the Blue Jays. They've got a couple of lefties coming up, and without a dominant number 1, hey, this is my closer guy like they had a few years ago in Diaz. They're going to share it with everybody in that bullpen. They've got saves from 5 different people this season from that bullpen. So they look for the matchups they want. Scott Service has got that lefty up just in case.
Blue Jays with 2 runners on, and Gurriel behind 1-2. Inside fastball as he has to jump out of the way of it. It's 2-2 now. So Gurriel, if he can keep things going, Kevin Biggio was on deck, and then Reese McGuire, and that's why Misevich is loosening up. A couple of lefties back to back after the Gurriel at bat. If he can stay out of a double play, he can keep the inning going. Pops this one up, and it's going to reach the seats out of play. The Mariners have turned 2 more double plays. They had a leadoff walk in the 4th inning, and Teoscar grounded into a 6-4-3 double play, and then with 1 out in the 6th inning, with Bo Bichette at first on a single, Vladdy grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. The infield defense for Seattle has played very well this afternoon, especially Seager and Crawford on the left side. Gurriel's hanging tough against Sewald. He fouls another pitch back.
And if he can get that double play, I misspoke earlier, because he came in a save situation in the 8th. If he can get the double play here, he would pick up a save. The Blue Jays are going to do everything they can to keep that from happening. Sewald does not have a save this season. He's 0 for 1 in save opportunities. Gurriel is making that tough on him.
Sewald has a couple of career saves. He had 2 saves with the Mets in 18 and 1 more with New York in 19. So he's got 3 career saves in 9 attempts. Fastball right on the outside corner, called strike 3. Gurriel is down on strikes.
Pretty nasty combination of pitches that he has. Fastball with enough speed, 94 miles an hour, crossfire onto the outside corner, and then that sweeping slider. They brought him in to face Guerrero. He got Vladdy, struck him out, and after a couple of batters reach here in the 9th, he reaches back for a little something extra, a couple more punch outs.
3 strikeouts since he's come into the ball game. Here's Kevin Biggio. He flied out to center in his only plate appearance. Came on as a pinch hitter in the 8th. Breaking ball is down and away for ball 1. Biggio hit for Santiago Espinal, who started at third. Espinal went 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Way inside, 2-0.
Cavan is so tough making that pitcher come to you. He can take a pitch here. I like his approach at the plate, and I like that he's not afraid to hit with 1 strike. So you can take one right here and then still grind out that at bat. Blue Jays still need some base runners.
He takes a breaking ball strike, taking all the way. It's now 2 balls and a strike.
Boy, that takes a lot of guts right there. 2-0, you're up by 5, 2 outs. You throw a 2-0 slider to Kevin Biggio. Shows you how much faith he has in that slider.
Fastball ripped well foul down the right side. That's back out of play into the seats. So Kevin was geared up for the heater, got it, but he was out in front a bit.
Now he can go anywhere. He can go back in there if he wants to. If he throws you that backdoor slider, don't give up on it. It breaks a lot and it breaks late. So don't give up on it if he tries that to you with 2 strikes. I think Scott Service would really just like to see if Sewald can finish this one out and not have to go to that pen again.
If Biggio can keep the inning alive, Reese McGuire would come to the plate, another left-handed bat, and that will probably prompt a pitching change. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Sewald strikes out Kevin Biggio and strikes out 3 in the inning after giving up an infield hit and a walk, and he picks up his first save of the season, his 4th career save as Seattle wins the series 2-1.
What a nice little comeback from Paul Sewald after those first 2 batters get on. 3 punch outs. Blue Jays lose that series. The starting pitching today, Hyun Jin Ryu just did not have his sharpest game this year. 4 innings, 7 hits given up. Blue Jays couldn't come up with some clutch hits again as they lose the series to the Mariners, but they'll have a chance to regroup with Tampa Bay coming into town.
Tampa Bay will be in tomorrow night starting a 3-game series. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great rest of your day. The Blue Jays lose this one